O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll, baby. Yes, sir. You know, the coach right now is talking, Coach Flo.
Play out as you think they would when they're good.
I don't know if we can air it.
Conversely, when they're not good.
We're going to try.
We made a lot of corrections yesterday.
Let's try.
Hopefully we'll have another good day today, and then again, it's good to, see a different opponent, different schemes, different skill sets from the receivers, from the linemen, from the tight ends. And, it's good for us. I mean, we need that. I mean, that's what it is in this league. It's different every week.
At the end of team portions of practice, was performance-based, or did he get hurt a little bit, or what happened?
Liam, he got banged up a little bit, so we pulled him. And he'll be out today. So, but I think it's day to day. He's going to work. He's already working to get back as soon as he can. And I think he's done a good job for us, so far. And, just kind of get over this and hopefully get him back as soon as we can.
Coach Flo addressing the media right now in Chicago.
Yesterday, will be back today?
Who did not practice yesterday. I mean, I don't have the full list in front of me, but Will Fuller will be out, Devontae will be out, Albert will be out, Hunter Long will be out, Brandon Jones will be out. Again, if you got a name, I'll let you know. But
Regarding Javon Holland, he seems to be around the ball quite a bit. The ball seems to find him. How much of that is just natural instincts?
I mean, I think he's doing a lot of good things from a communication standpoint, from a fundamentals and technique standpoint. He's a hardworking kid. It's showing up a little bit on the practice field. Look, I don't evaluate and judge people off of 3 or 4 plays. I mean, again, he's had 500 plays over training camp. I'm not going to judge him on 4 of them. Either way, good or bad. That's again, we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation. I'm not going to go through it again. Go ahead, Omar.
With the physicality that the Bears bring on the offensive line, on the defensive line, how is that good for this offensive line to see that kind of play on practice against it a couple days?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you see on a weekly basis in this league, and I would say this is a good front too. So it's great for us to see it, great for us to feel that, great for us to, as coaches, talk about the things we would do against a front like this, which, I would say we practiced some of them yesterday. And, I would say that when we did it correctly, with good fundamentals and technique, we're okay. And when we didn't, it's a good front. So that's how it goes in this league. And it's good for our offensive line to see. And we talked about that. That's the speed, that's the power you see on a weekly basis. It's good work for us.
You kind of mentioned yesterday when we spoke to him that when you were engaging with him after a series of reps, that maybe you were focusing on how you would like him to approach certain situations. That's kind of vague. Is there anything that Is there anything that you can kind of vague. Is there anything that you can kind of share with us about when you engage Tua in practice, the kinds of things that we might try to impart?
Look, I normally keep my conversations with players, with the player. But there's coaching points that I give every player: fundamentals, techniques, communication, and it's normally kind of in that ballpark. And I know that may be kind of vague for you, but that's I try to keep those conversations, between me and the player.
Coach Flo addressing the media. You guys are hearing everything, right? Perfect.
How did you feel the team handled the change and the kind of just disrupted schedule you guys dealt with yesterday?
I thought it was great for us. We get lightning in a game. We got to go in. We got to wait till it passes and then come back out. So another rep at that for us as a team, as coaches, how we would handle that. We came in here, we huddled up. Hey, we're going to do this when we go back out. Another delay. Hey, we got to wait a little bit. We got to stretch them this long. We got to stretch them a little longer. We got to do some individuals. And then I thought we went out and had good energy, good juice, and finished practice out. So I think it's a good rep for us. I mean, you guys all know we're in South Florida. There's sometimes delays, and we have to be ready to adjust, be flexible, and still perform.
A little bit of a scuffle at one point yesterday. Alan Hearns took a hit. I think you were able to get in there kind of before it got to anything deeper than that. Is that just kind of two teams seeing someone else for the first time, and it could get?
Yeah, I was a bouncer on that play. So, I mean, look, it gets chippy. It's football. I mean, for me, it was more as a 2-minute situation, and it was kind of more of a hopefully a learning tool for our team. You get in there, I got to call timeout, so we wasted timeout in that situation. When we could just go back, forget about the play, move on, and kind of keep our poise in that instance. So I know Omar's probably right in that I said I was the bouncer. I'm gonna put that out there, but look, I just I'm just trying to keep practice going and not have any issues. I thought the tempo yesterday was good, really good. I thought we got good work from the Bears and they got good work from us. Everybody stayed up. We're trying to keep every guys healthy, and that's kind of been the conversation I've had with Coach Nagy, our coaching staff. I've had conversations with their players. I know Coach Nagy's had conversations with our players. We're all just trying to get better, compete, and there's really no place for that, in my opinion. So hopefully we have another good day from that standpoint.
On a modified practice, or is he full go at this point?
Omar, it's when a guy's coming off. I mean, it's like if I just threw you in there and said, hey, go for 70 plays, it'd be hard, So when the guy's coming off of something, we try to
Pace him.
Ramp him back up.
Yeah.
That's normally how we do it.
Smart.
For a lot of reasons, for conditioning purposes, and then, it's just not ready yet. Hasn't had enough snaps. So I think that's generally how teams do it. And then we're no different. But Jalen had some good snaps yesterday. Hopefully, gets a few more today, and then I will we'll hopefully just kind of build off of yesterday and ramp them up over the course of days, weeks, etc. Anybody else?
You say 70 plays or 7?
Omar's got 70 plays in him. I'm sure he does. All right, guys.
Damn, I figured out how to go to big screen right at the end. What the hell is that? Huh? Damn it, I dropped the ball on that one. Anyway, there you go. That's the coach addressing the meteors. Boy, we're advancing here, huh? We're even putting press conferences up and everything. You guys can't complain. We're trying to do everything possible. I should have come on actually around 9:50 and had that prepared. But, what can I tell you? It is what it is. I'm trying to experiment and figure all this stuff out at the same time. So there you go. That's the coach. Nothing really earth-shattering coming out of that press conference overall. A lot of things to talk about, obviously, with the Dolphins practicing yesterday with the Bears. We'll keep track of everything that is going on in practice. We'll have the Twitter wire going. If there's any kind of breaking news, we can call Omar or Alan and check in with them if we have to. I'm not going to bother them if I don't have to, obviously. But if there's any kind of breaking news, injuries or something, we will check in. We got 2 guys there live, so we'll go to Chicago and we'll get the latest on that if it happens. So we'll keep you updated on all of that. Good morning, all of you out there. I didn't really get to have our hellos because kind of the press conference was starting at the same time. And I said, you know what? Let's hear from the coach. What the hell? Let's get that in there. And we were able to get pretty much most of the press conference. I think you guys enjoy something like that. Next time I'll get it all complete big screen. Okay. Next time I'll figure it out and I'll do it the right way and I'll have big screen. But hey, It's progress. Every little day we make some progress. And we thank all of you as always for tuning in, for locking it in here today. I don't have any guests today. So today it's going to be straight talk. I got a bunch of things that we can talk about today. I just, there wasn't a lot of things that I could, and plus we have plenty of guests tomorrow, joining us on the program. We'll have Omar on tomorrow. We will have Ira on tomorrow. We'll have Manny on tomorrow. So we're going to have plenty of stuff. Saturday morning, Alan and I will do a Dolphins recap of everything going on. So you'll get another day of another Dolphins report there for our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. So we are absolutely loaded. So we will keep you updated on everything going on over the next couple of days. Of course, we'll have some fun. We'll take your comments here on the YouTube chat board. You can reach out on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Twitter, of course. I've got my Twitter open, and if you want to send me something on Twitter, I can see it from here, and that's at Big O Show. And, of course, as always, another terrific way of contributing to the program is on Cash App and Venmo, and it's Cash Big O Show. Cash Big O Show is the address on Cash App or Venmo, and we always appreciate it. And, of course, it's so important. Those of you that are watching, if you're downloading the podcast, please smash the like button. It is extremely important that you smash that like button and help us out and get that algorithm going and get it going all over the place. The downloads have been doing great, and now the YouTube videos are now starting to pick up. And if you notice, now if you go to YouTube now, we are now starting to put up the interviews individually. We're starting to put up some of the rants and things like that. So we understand that people don't necessarily want to sit there and go through the whole show and have to fast forward to something that they want and all that stuff. So we kind of break it up for you and make it nice and easy. So you can go in there and get it done. Ray Grullon, thank you, sir. I just saw that you just gave us a donation. Thank you very much. I don't know if it was Cash App or Venmo. I don't know which one it was, but I just saw that there. It's Cash App. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for sending it in, as always, and supporting the hell out of the show, Ray. I appreciate you immensely, my man. And he says, howdy-o, everyone hates to sound like a broken record, but as a Fins fan, we should be grateful to have Flores as our coach. Amen, brother. After all the guys that we've been through, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I think I told you guys earlier this week, I like Coach Flores more and more every single month. Seriously, I just not every year, every month. There's something that just it's kind of like a library, and you're stacking books, right? And it's just like another chapter, another book that the guys put in there, and it's just it's like building your case on why the guy's a good coach and why you like him and everything about him. It's just professional, the way he carries himself. You can tell that he's pretty good at connecting with players in a way like what I mean by connecting is he is sending his message and it's well received. In other words, good or bad. Okay? Good or bad. There's no BS in between. It is what it is. He tells you and that's it. And you move on. The way he's handled this team, the way his players get better. The first 2 years that he's been here, from the first day to the last day, there's always improvement. The lack of penalties. After Shula left, this team became one of the teams that is committing tons of penalties, and one of the worst. Since he took over, they're one of the ones that commit the least amount of penalties. And it's amazing. If you don't turn over the ball, if you don't commit penalties, okay, if you're not making mistakes, you're going to be in every game. And that's what he's trying to do. Have a team that's disciplined, that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, that is smart with the football. And then if you do all those kind of things, the talent level isn't necessarily that much different from one team to another. Obviously, when you have a quarterback and you don't, that makes a huge difference. But overall, talent around the NFL, it's kind of the system's set for you to be around 500 automatically. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a good coaching staff, you're going to be in a lot of games. And if you play smart, you're going to have chances to win a lot of games. And that's what he has done. Even in the first year, while they were a disaster the first half because they were so young and green and raw, and so many of these guys didn't even know each other. I mean, remember Fitzpatrick said, the first week I was going on in the field introducing myself to some of these guys that I don't really know. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was. And even with all that said, they got better as the year went on. And they got better. And in the second half, they learned how to win. They learned how to make less mistakes, all of those kind of things. And these are the building block signs that he constantly shows why he's the right coach. Seriously. And what I love is we have, maybe not me, but I say we as football fans and media and all that, they've questioned him a whole bunch of times, right? And the first year about all that tanking stuff, and he was steadfast on it, and it had nothing to do with tanking. It's just they went really young, and they had to teach their players how to win. And that's what it was all about. And it's always been about winning. That's the part. I think that's the one defining mark about Flo that he has proven, even in his second year. Some people, I don't like that they're pulling Tua and this and that. It's not about pulling Tua. It's about the team. If Tua's ready to continue and play well and under the circumstances, bad line, at that moment, you're getting pressure, your weapons aren't that good. All right, let me throw the 17-year veteran that's seen everything in sight. That gives him a better chance than the kid that doesn't know the offense. We've limited the offense to him, and then he's got all the other limitations. Meanwhile, it's people saying, oh, no, but you got to keep Tua in there. And it's like, you don't have all the facts. Okay. If you have all the facts, kid's coming back from a hip surgery. Kid didn't have any offseason. Doesn't know the offense perfectly. The offense wasn't suited for him. The weapons aren't great. The line is young and green still. So let's put in the other guy because the kid isn't ready to overcome all that adversity. 3-4 years from now, when Tua's a seasoned veteran, you bring him back to that first year, last year, and he would be able to handle it a lot better. But since he's not there at that point, it's all understandable. And while Flo doesn't want to lose the team. He wants to try to win, and the team knows that, hey, at the moment, yeah, we like the kid, but, hey, we're better off with Fitz at the moment to try to get by. And sure enough, that's what they did. And while others were questioning him, he stayed strong throughout the entire thing. And he was doing the right thing for the team because it's not just about one individual. You're developing everything on that team. So you can't have a myopic point of view. Is that, I think, the way you would say it? You can't have that kind of point of view where it's a tunnel type of thing that you're only focused on one thing. That can't be the way it's done. You've got to have a broader approach to all of it, or like instead of micro, macro. You know what I mean? And put it that way. So that this guy has proven over and over and over again that he understands this game, knows his team really well, right? And hasn't lost them one bit. That's another thing, because we've watched over the years other players tune coaches out. I've been in locker rooms that they've tuned out the coach. I've watched it from my home. I've watched it from bars. I've watched it all over time. I've watched this whole thing, fall apart over and over again. The first year, he should have lost his team. He should have lost his team the first half of the season. Did he? No, not at all. So to me, I'm with you. Flo is just a guy that constantly proves that he knows what the hell he's doing, man. I'm telling you, that's all right. Anyway, plenty of stuff to talk about today on the show. I see you guys already have a ton of questions ready to fire off. I want to talk about a bunch of things. We'll keep you updated on everything going on. Liam Eichenberg right now is being injured. He's injured, so he's going to be held out of today's work. He struggled yesterday. Akeem Hicks can be a load. And that's, welcome to the NFL, young man. And remember, one of the things that Alan Poupart told us yesterday in the interview, and you could go back and listen to the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insiders report. He reminded us that Eichenberg was on the left side at Notre Dame. So while they wanted to put him at right tackle, it was an adjustment for him. And I've heard this over the years from many linemen. It's a challenge when you're habitually on one side and you're used to doing everything left. And then when they switch you to the right, everything that you did now has to be from the right side. And so you now have to retrain your brain and your instincts and everything else to do it from the right side, because it's completely opposite of what you were normally used to doing. So there's an adjustment period that goes with that. That's why I told you guys yesterday that sometimes guys start on one position on the line. Doesn't mean they end up there. It's just maybe a bridge to get to there. Because what you're doing is, okay, it's tough enough to come to the NFL. It's tough enough to succeed in the NFL. All right, so now let's put you in a position that's completely, out in right field that you've never had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And so now you allow him to stay on the left side, at least at the guard spot, build up the confidence. Not that he picked up some confidence yesterday, but you know what I mean? Over time with experience, you build up the confidence, and then you can start to move him over to the right side and work him out there. And you probably will do it even next year, where you can start to really train him after he's had a full season on the left side. Who knows? Maybe he has to go to the right if Jesse Davis has some kind of an injury, but the poor kid suffered some kind of a nick yesterday, and Solomon Kinley now had to step in, which, okay, now it sucks that Eichenberg had a little bit of a setback, right? But it's actually good because Solomon Kinley got knocked down, right? A tad. And so now he's there, steps up again, and now he's kind of hungry to, hey, I want to keep this job. So this is his opportunity also now to kind of say, no, I need to take over. And in a way, you really want this to happen. As much as I want Eichenberg to play, Solomon Kinley's better suited for playing guard. He is a road grader. He is a guy that can move people, right? It's just a technique thing that he's got to overcome at this level. At this level, you've got to be so good with your technique. And inside, you have to be so good with your hands, because these defensive tackles, you're playing in a phone booth. These guys are in your face right away, and they're so good with hands and leverage. And that's something that young linemen have to learn how to handle from the D linemen, and then the stunts and twists and all that other stuff that comes with it inside, that kind of F's with your mind a little bit. So there's a lot of adjustment here. But again, it's not a matter of overreacting after, the first practice. Eichenberg is a rookie. We have to understand that. So let's allow him to make his mistakes. Let's see if he can grow from some of these mistakes and start to help the team out. There's a part of me that I was thinking about this, and look, I like Jesse Davis a lot, okay? I think he's a solid sixth lineman. I think he's the guy you use to kind of fill in. I think he's all right as a starter. You know what I mean? I don't think he's a good starter or a great starter. I don't look at him that way. At least maybe he'll turn into that this year as he's developed in his career. Maybe that happens, and he's an absolutely total late bloomer. You want him on your team because he's super versatile and he can help you out, okay? Having said all that, I was just thinking about this. Eichenberg played on the left side, right? Austin Jackson's a hell of an athlete. And I know that the left tackle gets paid more money than the right tackle, but you're playing with Tua. So Tua's the lefty. So really the right tackle is more important than the left tackle. And if Austin Jackson, who is considered a pretty damn good athlete, right? I was thinking about this. maybe Austin Jackson, who's now been in the league, maybe you move him to the right side. And you could sit there with his agent and him and say, hey, look, I know what you guys are thinking, left tackle, right tackle, but we got Tua. So really, you're the left tackle now, but it's on the right side because you're really protecting. It's really more important because you're protecting the blind side of the quarterback. So just a little experiment. I was thinking in my mind, I'm going, so you move Austin Jackson to right tackle, and then you can put Eichenberg at left tackle where he's actually used to it habitually and all of that. And then there's no learning curve on the technique side, right? Because he's already used to it. So you play Eichenberg at left and you play Austin Jackson at right. And because you have a left-handed quarterback, you know, the whole pay thing and all that, you talk to him and say, hey, man, Austin, you kick ass. We're going to take care of you just like if you were the left tackle, because technically you are the most important tackle right now on the team because you're protecting Tua's blind side. And you're actually putting somebody more experienced, only a year, over Eichenberg, right? Or over Jesse Davis. I was just thinking, listen, I'm just spitballing. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not the offensive line coach. I'm not the head coach. I'm just a big mouth, a talk show host. That's all I do. So I can't say, but I was just, I was thinking about that. That's something that they could do because in a perfect world, you think, well, Austin Jackson moves to the right side. He's got a lot of athleticism to him, right? You can put Eichenberg at left tackle. If Solomon Kinley can, find his way back, and he's a road grader and he's a tough dude. I like Solomon Kinley. I understand that technique-wise he's got a little bit of ways to go, but that's normal for guys. You know what I mean? But it might end up actually falling into place a little better when it's all said and done. I don't know how they'll handle this. That's the beauty of all of this. They've got a lot of guys, and they've got to sift through it and figure it all out, but it's not done overnight. It just doesn't happen like that. So we've got to see how this stuff develops. Hey, there were good stuff. There were good things yesterday, and they were bad, obviously. The D-line dominated the O-line. Tua didn't have a lot of time to find stuff downfield. He was actually really good on the short yardage stuff, on the 7-on-7s, and in the red zone. He was tearing it up. He threw several touchdowns in those formations. And that tells you, yesterday when I'm reading about this and saw a couple of videos and all of that, what it tells you is the line didn't give him enough time to find stuff downfield, but the intermediate and red zone stuff, he was able to make quick decisions and he was accurate. Notice how everybody and anybody that wrote something about Tua yesterday, what did they talk about? Accuracy. The pressure on him, that's not on him, that's on the O-line, unfortunately. But that's because, and that's why they couldn't find anything downfield. But all the intermediate stuff and the red zone stuff, they lit him up. So Mac Hollins played well. Jalen Waddle played well. They had guys that actually performed yesterday. And, as you know, they were missing several. Listen, both teams were missing several guys. Even the Bears. The Bears, while they have Akeem Hicks and all these cats, Eddie Goldman was out. He's got COVID. Eddie Goldman's a damn good player, part of that defensive front. No Roquan Smith, no Danny Trevathan. So they were missing several guys too on their defense that are very important to their defense, and they still dominated that front for the Miami Dolphins. But again, I'm not necessarily shocked that happened, that the offensive line struggled early on, because I don't expect them to find, all of a sudden this chemistry and then all of a sudden fall into place. But we do have to at least be a little bit more patient and allow this whole thing to develop. All right. Let me see. Eddie Gutierrez, thank you, sir, giving us a little love on the super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. He says, finally have something to listen to in the AM. AM radio is effing dead. Thank you, Big O, bringing us the old school takes. There you go. All right. Old school? Am I talking Wanstead and Jimmy and Shula? Is that right? I got you, bro. It's all good. I appreciate you. Thank you. Welcome aboard, Eddie. Welcome to the family. Thank you. The family grows every day. And yes, AM radio does blow. AM radio is pretty much dead. So yeah, it is. QAM will probably disappear next year. It'll only be 790 left. Once Joe retires in January and he's out, they'll shut that station down and move it to another format, and then 790 will be left over, and that's it. And they'll have a couple shows and do half-ass radio like they do, and it is what it is. But that's fine. It's better for us because we'll continue to kick their ass, because I think we've got the best sports show right now in town by far. It's not even close. We got the best insiders. I think we provide you the best sports talk every single day right now in South Florida by miles. It's not even close. Okay? If you want to go grab a show that, just, eats crap all day, then yeah, you can find some other shows out there. But if you want hardcore sports talk, by far, this is your choice, I believe. I think that's what we're producing here, and a complete sports show too. So everybody in any sport that you love, we're always going to talk about all the sports. So I appreciate you, Eddie. Thank you. I heard Armando Salguero's leaving. Congratulations to him on his next venture. I don't know anything. Okay, so this is just me spitballing. I think he's going to the Athletic. Do the math. Omar is in the Sun Sentinel. Josh Tolentino left the Athletic several weeks ago. They never replaced him. The most important beat in town is the Miami Dolphins beat, and the Athletic didn't replace him right away. They knew he was leaving a few weeks ahead of time. They could have hired somebody right there to have, when Beasley left. I'm sorry, no, when what's it called? When Safed left, the Sun Sentinel immediately moved David Furones in, and then elevated Kobe to from soccer to UM. So they made the move right away. The Athletic has not made the move on the most important beat in South Florida, the Dolphins. And then, I'm just doing the math, okay? I'm just going to do the math here. The boss is George Rojas. Rojas worked at the Miami Herald with Armando Salguero and Manny Navarro. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to something national. I have no. Well, I mean, another national thing, not the Athletic. I'm thinking the Athletic local, because Athletic is national, but they have, individual homes locally everywhere else. So I 1 and 1 equals 2. I think he's going to the Athletic. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll find out. We'll find out when it all breaks down. And I don't know what the Herald's going to do now, because they lost Beasley and now they're losing Armando Salguero. So it's like, you're going to have Barry Jackson do all the stories. I mean, he probably could, but you're probably going to have to hire somebody else and bring in another Dolphins reporter. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they go steal somebody else, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Salguero's, I know Salguero. Let me see. He put out a tweet just so I can read it. Let's see. Where is it here? Personal news. After a combined 30 years at the Miami Herald, I'll be leaving next week for a new opportunity. I'm blessed to have served Herald readers for 3 decades, but exciting things are on the horizon. Stay tuned. That's it. So he hasn't said where he's going, but I'm guessing the Athletic. That's just a guess. I could be 1,000% wrong, but me, I'm just going to do the math, and I'm going to take the guess. Okay. And I'll go with the Athletic. Just kind of makes a lot of sense, but we'll see. We will see. Maybe, or you know what? Maybe he doesn't even go back to sports. Maybe he goes into another direction in life. That may be it too. You never know. Let's see. Are you a corporate guy? Cap. What does that mean? I don't know. If Salguero goes to the Athletic, would you have him on your show? I would always have Armando on my show. I don't have him on my show now because he's part of he has a deal with Odyssey. So I don't know if he's still I don't know why he wouldn't still have that deal with Odyssey. So as long as he still has his deal with Odyssey, I can't have him on. That was the problem with Kyle Krabs. Kyle had no idea that his company had a national deal with a national company. So he could not do an individual deal with me locally. So because he couldn't do the individual deal with me locally, that's why I couldn't actually lock him in to be every week. So that was the issue with it. But, we're human. Everybody makes mistakes. He didn't realize it. It's all good. Kyle's a really good dude. So it doesn't matter. We get through it all, baby. Let's see. We got here. Eddie says, anytime, Big O, love you, brother. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you, man. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. Big O, the Black Album by Metallica came out 30 years ago today. Yes, sir. Great album. Some people call them traitors for that album, but yeah, I love it. Great album. I'm with you there. Willie says, Joe Rose is a lovable, quirky guy, was a decent tight end. Joe had good hands, man. That's the one thing that I always remember about Joe. Yeah, Joe wasn't this great tight end or anything like that, but he was a role player but he was clutch. He caught everything you threw at him. So it's kind of important. So I always give him credit for that he had good hands. I tried to listen to 560 and 790 this morning. It was a clown show. Says Tremoli. Wow, come on, man. Joe's a good dude, bro. Big O, we are wired different with similarities. Well, then I feel sorry for you. If we have some similarities, I feel bad for you, man. Chuck Cooper says, first day of school for my daughter this morning, senior year. Hard to believe we made it from preschool days to today. Congratulations, my man. I know how that is. Can you consider a 7th rounder a bust? No. No. 5th, 6th, 7th rounder. I always say this. The 1st through 3rd rounds, you got to be really good at drafting. You got to hit on a lot of those picks. 4th round, there's still some stuff there. I'll put a little pressure on you. But once you get to the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, bro, you're throwing darts on the board. Those guys have all kinds of holes, and you're just hoping something falls through. And I know Tom Brady and Zach Thomas, and I know we're going to start naming all kinds of people and all that. And look at Van Ginkel now. He's a 5th rounder, and he's looking really, really good. So, no, I can't consider a 7th rounder a bust. What are your thoughts on Dokes? Bust? Dude, he dropped a couple passes yesterday. He's a young kid. This is a spotlight for him, all that stuff. I'm not going to do that to the kid. I got to give him time, man. Got to give him time. Maybe he's a kid that needs to go on the practice squad. But I'm not ready to give up on him at all. I think Neto is going to shine in these preseason games. I would not be surprised. JG says, what is your take on Cocaine Cowboys, King of Miami, enjoying the documentary so far? I saw it all. It was awesome. I loved it. It's great, dude. It was great. I don't want to give up too much. The only thing I will say is Sal is a first-class freaking moron, dude. That's all I'll say. And I'm not going to explain as much, but that guy, wow. Talk about stupidity. Good morning, Big O. Mondo leaving the Herald is huge. Will you please go into depth on how the industry has changed over the years? Love hearing the behind-the-scenes stories. I mean, Lee, newspapers are dying, my brother. We don't. It's about life. Life is evolving, and things change, and you have to change with the times. And on radio, I used to take your questions by fax. We had a fax machine, dude. That was the only other way you could get to us. Then we started with email. And then we started with social media, right? And now we've got the podcasting, the digital side. And if you don't evolve with those things, then the business passes you by. And if you notice, Any host that wasn't active on social media, they're dead in the water. Any host that doesn't understand this digital platform, they're dead in the water. And newspapers, same thing. Newspapers have evolved. It's no more newspaper. We don't grab the paper in the morning. We don't have our dirty fingers anymore. We don't go grab our paper, hope it didn't get wet, all that kind of stuff, or the dog took it, or somebody stole it, or whatever it is, right? We don't do that anymore. Now you have your phone that you walk around with, iPads that you walk around with, and you have all the news at your fingertips. And you have social media also posting the news, which you may not even need the paper at times because you get all the news, right? So now you're not buying the newspaper anymore, so the newspapers are dying. So because they're dying and because the newspapers are dying, there's less circulation, they can't sell advertising. And if they can't sell advertising, they can't pay for employees. So that's why you're watching newspapers just die on the vine. That's why the business is terrible. On the radio side, years ago, once the government lifted the restrictions and allowed companies to scoop up stations like they were eating gummy bears, and now 4 companies own all the stations, it's ruined. And now talk radio is a lot like FM radio. You got FM DJs that they're in 67 towns in this country because they're live in one city, but then they walk into a studio in the morning and they record the ins and outs of breaks for 40 other stations. So instead of paying a DJ for an entire shift, they just give that DJ $40 per station that he does to do all the ins and outs. And then they just put them in. And you're never listening to anybody live. It's a terrible business, my brother. It's a terrible business. And it's been torn apart. And it's nothing like it used to be, unfortunately. And that's why good people all over the place are losing their jobs because there's no money. And there's also a lot less creativity, too. There's a lot of corporate greed going on, and they think the cookie cutter shit works, right? Like, I'll give you an example. If you ever listen to QAM, they got some woman that tells you, we're talking about the Dolphins, and we're talking about the Heat, and that same woman is recording that same promo in 80 other cities, all from Chicago, from the home base. But it's just a general thing that they do. There's nothing that's actually, they're running all their promotions from Chicago for each city. They're running their sales from Chicago for each city. Do you think that they're going to know the Sioux Falls area, like the LA area, like the Fort Lauderdale area, like Tallahassee, like Albany, they're not. Every market's different. So this business has become a real disaster. And so many good people are out of work because of the way things are being run nowadays. And they think piping in national crap is going to make you guys happy on 560 and 790. And now you hear it. I mean, whatever you listen to, 640, 940, 560, 790, there's barely anything local on anymore. They're not paying people unless you pay to be on the air like Slater does. But outside of that, it's not, if you're going to pay to be on the air, anybody can do that. There's no skill in that. And Andy does a great job breaking stories and all that. But, those are brokered stations, 640 and 940. They sell airtime. They don't hire anybody. They don't pay anybody. It's a terrible business. So unless you want to do that, where you want to buy airtime, then you can do that. But not a lot of people are going to do that, man. Not a lot of people have, the kind of money in the bank that they can pay for their airtime. That's ridiculous. So it's a terrible business, dude. It's a terrible business. Just is, man. And it's just been torn apart. You can't trust these people anymore. The last of when Beasley was still the owners of QAM, that was the end of the era. Once CBS took over, all they did was scoop up stations, and then all they did was then tear them down internally. They fired people. They overworked others. You know that they fired Joe Bell by a phone call. That's the boss of everybody. You effing call him and fire him on a phone call? And then we had Steve Carver as our boss. Great guy. A gem of a human being. That dude was the leader of the Orlando cluster. So what they did was they gave him the Miami cluster. So he had to be here for a week, then drive up to Orlando for a week, then drive down to Miami for a week, then Orlando. That was his life. Because they didn't want to pay for two of them. So they got one. So what they did was they lowered their overhead by firing tons of people. I was still there, but they fired Josh Friedman, they fired Captain Curtis, they fired all kinds of people, man. Great people. Okay, people that were more than capable of doing their jobs and doing a really good job for you. JT Wilcox. I mean, it was disgusting. My producer, Brandon Rodriguez, because he was a salary guy, not an hour guy. So they fired him. Because when Brandon and I came over from 640 back to 560, I negotiated to make sure that they brought Brandon with me and give him a salary. And then while they gave him a salary, then they were eliminating as many salaries as possible. So Frito was on a salary, and Captain Curtis was on a salary, and JT Wilcox was on a salary, and Brandon was on a salary. So they started eliminating everybody. Shay, who was working on Hawk show, they didn't even tell Hawk, and they fired her. You know, all this kind of stuff. They just did all kinds of things. Why? Because they wanted to lower the overhead of the cost, even though they were running it on skin and bones, dude. They were running the entire company, but they wanted to lower the overhead so then they can sell it to Intercom. And then Intercom bought so many stations that the idiots didn't have a plan on how to run all those stations that they ended up purchasing. And then, Intercom or Odyssey or whatever has lost or fired over 70% of their talent nationwide. Listen to me. They have fired or lost, because a lot of people see it coming and then they leave. And 70, it's over 70 now at this point. How do you run a company when you've eliminated that many people? It's impossible. So that's why you hear what you hear. And what you're hearing here, you're hearing in other cities. Barely any live shows, mostly piping in national crap. That's the business we're in, man. It's the business we're in. That's why when you guys tell me, oh, man, I miss you on QAM and this and that. And, somebody from QAM the other day goes to me, man, we need you back. And I go, you never see me back, bro. What? I don't even know that they would even hire me anyways. But even if they wanted to hire me, I'd tell them, look, screw you. I'm never working for that again. And that's why I tell you, this is what we got to build together. South Florida's audience around the world, South Florida viewers around the world, South Florida listeners that love their teams around the world, right from here in South Florida. Let's build this together, because this is ours. Because this is I'm you guys. But they don't care about that. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to build with Onside. I wanted to build the ultimate station that was dedicated like we were with QAM back in the early days. And it can be done, but it can't be done with corporate assholes running it. It can't. It has to be with people that work here, live here, breathe, eat, and sleep South Florida. And that's why it's so difficult. You know what I mean? It's really not an easy thing to do. What we do here every day also is not easy. But I appreciate all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting and downloading and sharing it. And please smash the hell out of, that's why I tell you to smash the hell out of the like button, all this kind of stuff, because you see what's coming on the corporate end. And it's over. Radio's over. Look at TV. Do you look at TV like you used to? No, you don't. It's YouTube TV, it's Netflix, it's Hulu, it's Prime, it's Disney. Yeah, it's very little. Less and less of us are doing the cable and the satellite thing. It's everything's changing, everything's evolving. You know what I mean? Like some guy on Twitter goes, "Well, why do you break up your show for?" And I go, "Well, because people are lazy. If I put only the full show and you want to hear an interview, they're not going to forward and all that stuff. No, man, you got to put the interview up individually. You got a couple rants, put them up because some people may only want to hear an Inter Miami thing, or they only want to hear a Dolphin thing, or they only want to hear a Miami Heat thing. So you got to kind of make it easy for people, a la carte in a way, so they can hear whatever they want from the show. Because sometimes there's a lot of you that actually download the whole show and you listen to it all the way through. But that doesn't mean everybody does that. Some people will individually just download an hour. So I've figured that out since I've been doing this, that this is the way people love to do it. And this on-demand stuff is everything to people now. Because you don't have time you're going to be there at 9:00 on Thursday every time. No, dude, I'll record it. And if I'm not there, no problem. I'll watch it later. Like last night, I watched Hard Knocks on my own time. When I was available, I had it recorded. Boom, I watched Hard Knocks. Everything's changed. The world has changed. And people in radio and in the newspapers, they are facing critical points in their lives. Because it's really hard to maintain a career in those businesses right now. You can in newspaper. It's over. Newspapers are dying and they're going to be gone pretty soon. There's going to be very few of them left. And that's why, look at it, man. I mean, there's how many Dolphin beat writers are left? And that's the most important beat there is. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy business. I'm telling you. It's no fun. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be in radio or newspaper. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Big old Alan Poupar wrote, Liam Eichenberg is dressed for practice. We'll keep an eye on him to see how much he does. Yeah, let's see. Kiroyce is there, not wearing pads. Eichenberg is dressed for practice. We'll keep an eye on him to see how he does. Kiroyce Neto is not practicing. Must have suffered an injury yesterday. Horrible day for him to be hurt because he could have proved today versus the Bears. Tua giving Solomon Kinley a pep talk before practice. Kinley is the starting left guard. Kelly, let's see, offensive line development is critical. Okay, there's an article. Vince Beagle has a walking boot on his right foot. Okay. Omar Kelly reporting. Am I not seeing anything? Is Salguero there at all? Or he's not even there? Because I don't see anything from Salguero coming in. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, maybe Eichenberg is just going to stand there and just be part of the whole thing, and not play. We'll see. All right, I don't. So far, there's nothing, at least on the field yet, that they're reporting. So there's probably some stretching and stuff like that can go on. All right. That's a shame Kiroyce is not wearing pads because he's one of those guys. That's one of those intriguing backups that I think a lot of us want to see, So there you go. I hope you enjoyed a look into our disgusting business that we chose to be a part of. I mean, I got to tell you, radio was fun in the 90s, man. I will admit, that first decade that I was in it, that was a really good decade to be a part of radio. I had a blast. Can't tell you how much if it was still like that would have, that was everything, man. That was the highlight right there of being in radio, was the 90s. Right to maybe the very early 2000s, I think it was. And then all hell broke loose and it's been over for 15 years now, easy. Yeah, it's been bad, man. It sucks. But what are you going to do? We'll get through it, right? We adjust. Like I told you, you got to adjust to everything. So here we are on the digital end. adjusting to it and trying to survive every day here with you guys. Craig says, look at Facebook. You have to watch what you put in anything. They don't want people to see they put you on Facebook jail. Huh? Look at Facebook. You have to watch to put anything. I'm not sure. I guess you're saying, are you talking about Facebook and their limitations or something? Or did somebody legally put me in jail? Because a lot of people would want to put me in jail. Best advice Big O gave me, don't even wish to be a radio guy. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want this business, dude. You don't want this business. For me, the last 10 years have been incredibly stressful. They have been. I will totally admit that. Dealing with all the shit that I've dealt with and all the crap that I've dealt with and all the incompetence that I've dealt with, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, to be honest with you. That's why this format now is something that we just need to continue to grow and expand, because I just feel like it's the least stressful that I've had, the least amount of stress that I've had in the last 10 years is doing this and being able to just control everything, and whatever I want to talk about, I can talk about. I don't answer to anybody. It's a beautiful thing, man. I get to connect with you guys. I don't have to hear some stupid ass program director. Don't take a phone call. You keep talking and all that kind of stuff. And I know that here we're not really doing the phone call thing, but you guys send in your questions and I have no problem ever answering them. You know it. I can't answer all of them sometimes, obviously, but I do go back and forth with all of you more than any host does in town, not even close. The decision to pick Tua over Burrow will be a perennial comparison. No need to resist the inevitable, says Marpua on Twitter. He's right. He's right. They're stuck together, just like Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf were. He's right. He's right. That happens. Happens all the time when you could have had one or the other. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's Eddie Moore or Anquan Bolden. It's Jamar Fletcher or Drew Brees, right? I mean, we've lived with those terrorizing comparisons for many years now, right? Robinson, Line, and Carter, right? It just, it happens, man. Whether it's a trade, a draft pick, there are two players that live, that even if they're different positions or whatever, there's that connection, and it's either or, and either was happiness and or was absolute hell. So yeah, that's something that you got to live with, man. T-Bone says, Big O, I got crypto XRP. I got 100K at 29, still holding, my brother. Well, you're going to make some money, bro. You're going to make some serious money. But you got to hang in there. That XRP stuff with the SEC, they've got to get over that. And once they do, then it'll definitely soar. What else do we have here on it? My favorite metal album of all time is Vulgar Display of Power or Master of Puppets. Both amazing. Love Ride the Lightning too. Sage McKinley says, good morning, Big O. What will it take for national sports journalists to stop comparing Tua and Herbert? It's annoying. No, it won't end up happening. I told you, Leaf and Manning. Ryan Leaf still has to live up to Peyton Manning. Joe Rose mentioned this morning that the Herald tried to snatch up Omar from the Sentinel, but Omar passed on the offer. Interesting. That's a nice nugget Joe brought in. If Salguero goes to the Athletic, would you have him on? Oh, yeah, I already answered that. What else do we have here? Let me go to some earlier stuff. Did Steve Chapman? Chapman was number one. There you go. He got back on the. We got the Rocky song going. Dun, 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 dun. So Chapman made it up the stairs. He's got his hands raised. Little combination. He's up there. Ian from Brooklyn, Catracho 1978, Daniel Marquez, GP Trap Hewitt. Remember, he's right. Smash that like button. We need you to smash the hell out of that like button, please. Tommy and Hialeah says, so Harold eventually will get we'll get to CGI reporters. Man, how this pandemic has done a number on so many businesses. Yeah. Well, newspaper, Tommy, they've been suffering before the pandemic. The pandemic is that final like blow that just knocked them out. The pandemic killed a lot of other businesses and careers and all that stuff, and that's besides losing so many people around the world. So many people around the world also lost their careers and their jobs and things like that. It's terrible. But newspapers were already headed in that direction. The pandemic may have sped it up for a couple of other ones and just like kind of pushed them over the top already. But newspapers were going to die anyways, Tommy. It's just where we're going. It's kind of like radio. You're not listening to music anymore the same way you used to. You don't go to the FM stations that much anymore. You go to your iTunes and your Spotify and what is it, Pandora, and your whatever music you have in your phone. Because I know I listen to my iTunes library all the time. I don't really listen to radio that much anymore, like FM radio or anything. Satellite's the one that could get some of you to, listen to music or even talk. But outside of that, and even in satellite, if you notice, they've got less hosts too. Everything's been hurt. Good morning, Big O, from Emilio Hernandez. Un abrazo from Hialeah, born Cuban, 1977, living in the great state of Texas. A Dolphins fan here for life. Great show, my brother. Keep rocking and rolling. Thank you, Emilio. I appreciate you. Un placer. Isais is in. Omar Lopez. Mickey is in. Francisco Rivero says, morning, O. How would you address the issue of Tua holding on to the ball for so long? It's been an issue since college. Even Nick Saban said it was an issue. Well, Nick said that it was an issue, and it probably assisted him in getting injured at times. Yesterday, Francisco, that wasn't the issue. He was actually very good on the intermediate and red zone stuff. What he couldn't do was get downfield, but that's not on him. That's the line that didn't give him time. You know what I'm saying? And I explained this already, and you probably didn't catch this. Tua is a really smart kid. Okay? Where I'm not talking about just a book smart kid. I'm talking about his intelligence goes way beyond books, way beyond just football. There's common sense involved in all of this. And he has an awareness of everything that goes on. So he knows when you ask a question about an individual, he doesn't want to highlight that individual. He will highlight that group. So if you ask him about a receiver, he'll say, well, Mac is doing just like all the other guys, man. All the other guys are doing really well. Allen and Mac and Jalen, and he won't allow himself to get cornered in somewhere where he thinks it might be a detriment verbally or on the field. And let me add the second part of on the field. Here's a young man that told you, he was honest. Man, I didn't have a grasp of the entire playbook. They didn't give him the entire playbook. They gave him a limitation of the playbook. So he didn't know everything. So if you don't know everything, you're not comfortable. If you didn't practice with everybody like you have all summer now, because you were rehabbing, you're not comfortable. If you're not the starter and you're the backup and you're not getting all the reps, you're not comfortable. If you don't know all your receivers, you're not comfortable. If your line, it doesn't give you time, you can't get comfortable. If you don't have great receivers like he didn't last year, it's hard to get comfortable. So with all that stuff going on and so much unknown, he is not Drew Lock. He is not Jameis Winston. He's not the guy that's just going to gunsling and just throw it out there and throw the cares to the wind and say, forget it. I'm just going to let it wing it out and then start throwing turnovers all over the place. That's not who he is. He's too intelligent to do something like that. So he needs to be comfortable. He needs to understand everything. He needs to be confident in what he's doing in order to take those kind of chances. You will watch him this year be much more aggressive, like what you want, like what others want. Why? Because he's played football all year now. He wasn't rehabbing his hip. He's now healthy. The offense is designed for him. The receivers are brought in for him. All of those things. You saw it yesterday. Yesterday in the intermediate and red zone stuff, quick decisions he was able to make. Accuracy, able to deliver, but he couldn't deliver the long ball because the line was getting eaten up. So if the line's getting eaten up, he's going to do the next thing, which is check it down to the intermediate. He's not going to force something. And I don't think you understand this, but he's not forcing it because he's afraid or anything like that. He's not forcing it because he's not going to put his team in a disadvantage. This is a really smart kid in everything that he does. Notice how he handles he's one of those dudes. We've talked about this. It's just one of those dudes. And so you got to give him some time. He's a rookie. Now he's a second-year player, but a first-year full-time starter. I think you will see that aggressiveness come out now as the team gets better for him. But he's going to work from within the limitations that there is. So if the line doesn't give him time, he's not going to hang on to the ball and throw it downfield. He's going to get rid of it immediately. And that's what he did yesterday. He got rid of it quickly and made good decisions. Let's see. What we have, Jalen Phillips, by the way, is not spotted at practice, according to Omar Kelly here. Let me see what he has here. It says Jalen Phillips is not spotted at practice today. It might be a way of another day situation coming off his injury. His reps were limited yesterday. Yeah, he might have felt some soreness, and they said, all right, now rest this day, and then you'll be back, in a couple days. Okay? All right. And I don't see anything else. All right. New, at least, coming in from camp. I will keep you updated on all of that. So hopefully I explained it. Again, none of this happens overnight. So let's watch him this year. One practice yesterday is not what is going to bring the whole season, So there were positives yesterday. There were negatives yesterday. Kind of expected, right? Let's give it some time, and I think everything will work out. Steven Gonzalez is in. He says, good morning, my peoples. Big O, much love, my brother. Thank you, sir. Michael Toff says, yes, clear as a bell. So he did like what we were putting up. Stefano Gugliata says, good morning, Big O. Been out for a minute. Football season is back, baby. Best show for Dolphins talk. Thank you. That's very kind of you. John Rouse is in the house. Let's see. R-Rod says, your thoughts on Liam playing bad and getting replaced by Solomon Kinley yesterday. He's a rookie. I think I already talked about that. Hopefully you heard it, sir. Raging Dolphin Maniac says, gotta run, folks. Fins up. Let me see. What else do we have? There's a lot of people on the chat board. Thank you all out there, man. Ton of people. Wow. Holy crap. I can't get to all of them. Big O, I know you're not a financial advisor, but what is your opinion? What will Vet and Ada be trading at the end of the year? I think Ada will be closer to $4 by the end of the year. I think Vet will be pretty close to $1 at the end of the year. That's my guess. Not a financial advisor. But, here's the thing. I do want to remind you about certain things, guys, because I know that some of you have invested in the crypto market and some of you are thinking about it and all those kind of things. Certain coins that I've talked about, like Cardano, like VeChain, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, the Polygon, these are coins that I don't plan on selling for a long time, like a long time. I don't think I will start taking profits off of this until maybe sometime in late 2022. Start taking profits. Okay? Moving them to stable coin and then staking the stable coins, things like that. I will do that down the line. You're going to start like Ethereum. I'm making money right now on Ethereum big time, right? But I don't plan on taking any profits right now from Ethereum. Why am I going to take Ethereum at $3,200? Okay, I got a lot of it at 15, at 16, at 1,700, a ton. That's mostly where I have all my Ethereum, right? When it dipped again and it got into the 1,800s, I purchased again. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to take profits on Ethereum because I think Ethereum is going to be at $20,000 and $30,000. So I'm going to wait a couple years and wait till it maxes out, so then I can start to really take off profits and start to, because these are long plays. I don't tell you about stuff. I'm not rich, so I can't invest in something that I'm looking to pump and dump. You know, some of you out there, if you're blessed and you have a lot of money, hey man, God bless you, man. I hope you make a lot more on all of this. You know, if you're comfortable, and bless you if you are, then yeah, I can understand somebody putting in, 100,000 in Ethereum and it doubles and or triples and you get out of it right away. You know what I mean? I can't do that because I know where it's going. It's going to go a lot higher. And Cardano, I think, will be a coin that'll be closer to $10 to $15 down the line. So I'd rather wait till it really tops off, and then I can start to take the profits and start to enjoy, the success from it. But it's not something, because the way you're kind of talking to me, you're almost thinking, okay, you're almost thinking of getting out before since you're already in. And certain coins like that, I'm not thinking about getting out for a long time. So all I do is accumulate is what I do. I have a friend of mine that got into Ethereum when it was, at 2,500 and 3,000 and 3,500, and got some Bitcoin at 45 and 50,000. And I think he bought it maybe even at 52, 54,000 also. So he's losing some money right now, especially on the Bitcoin. But then I talked to him and he didn't buy the dip. And that's kind of the trick, that yeah, you can wait because it will bounce back and then you'll start to make your money eventually. But that's kind of why we talked about buying the dip, because like, let's say VeChain, I think VeChain will be $1 closer to the end of the year, which by the way, they just cut another monster deal now. I think it was with MasterCard. I think it was. VeChain added just like they added a couple of other big time companies to their portfolio now that they've teamed up with. And so I figured it's going to be somewhere around $1 by the end of the year, right? Even if it's 75 cents, it's still a lot of money. But here's the thing, I think it's going to go higher than that. So I'm not really going to get out at the end of the year. And I got in initially in VeChain at 7, 8, and 9 cents. That's where I accumulated most of my VeChain. On this dip, it went to 5 and 6. So then I reloaded at 5 and 6 cents. So I have a ton of VeChain now at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 cents. Okay. And I think it's now closer to 12 cents now, right? I believe it's like at 11 and a half or something like that. So think about this. The stuff I invested at 5 cents now, I've already doubled it. The stuff I got at 5.7 or whatever, I've already doubled that. I could get out, but I didn't put $500,000. So yeah, I get it. If you got money and you put 100,000 and you put it at 5.7 cents and it gets to 12, then you get out because you doubled your money. I get it. I totally understand that. But because I'm not the guy that's investing, millions of dollars, I got to sit on it and let it grow actually and take advantage. So that's why I usually, when I invest in coins, it's down to 10.64. Actually went on a dip now. It's still not low enough to buy. Anyway, so when I buy coins, I usually get stuff that I can invest in on long term. And we got a dip now, actually, in the market. So there you go. All right. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What do we got here? What's up, brother? Just surfing live streams and found you. Cheers. Square Table Degenerates Podcast. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, my brother. Philippe O says, anyone else see XDC taking off? XDC, which is XDC? XDC. I'm brain farting here. XDC. I got to look that up, man. XDC is... I don't see XDC. What is XDC? Maybe they have it on Coinbase. I don't see it on... what is XDC? Is that something else? Is that not a coin or something? You guys effing with me on this? I don't know what XDC is. Let me see. XDC. Here we go. Zinfin Network. I have no idea, my brother. I don't know anything about it. If I don't know about it, I can't tell you. I can't guide you. I will not do that. If I don't know something, I'll tell you, hey, man, I don't know. Pretty simple. Let's see. Can't teach that amazing accuracy he has, and guys like Brady Breeze have had. Oh yeah, Montana, all the greats, they have that accurate. Marino is deadly accurate, dude. Deadly accurate. Marino had a radar and accuracy. It's crazy. Eric Storm says, I've been watching football since the early 80s, and I've seen very few QBs this great this early. Tua is amazing young QB and going to be elite for years, just needs time like Brady had. Can't teach that amazing accuracy. I agree. I'm with Eric the Storm. I'm with Eric the Storm there. Mike No Go Zone says our local classic rock station in Miami has a rotation of 25 songs. That's the bullshit, bro. They don't. None of those people control any music. It's the program director gives you the list of music that you got to play, and you play it, and that's it. You got no choice nowadays in radio, and they play the same popular songs because that's how they feel they're going to have a major audience. They don't want to go into anything new or alternative or that's not known as well and all that kind of stuff because they're afraid that people will turn it off. You know what I mean? And they lose something on the meter or anything like that. It's sad. It's sad. Yeah, things have changed. That they have, my friends. That they have. Oh my God. I didn't break for the top of the hour. I've talked for an hour and 17 minutes straight, which I'm sure you get plenty of that in the other stations. Give me a minute. Hour number 2 next.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com. There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support. All righty. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you. There we go. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, keeping it locked here. I will keep you updated. Damian Williams, by the way, with a respectable first down run. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. That Damian Williams, Omar Kelly says. Van Ginkel and Brennan are the starting outside linebackers. All right, I like it. I like Van Ginkel, man. I am a Van Ginkel fan. Adam Shaheen, by the way, and Khalil Mack just got into a skirmish during one-on-ones. Yeah. Well, you know what? I wonder if there's any bad blood from before. And I don't know if I want to be taking on Khalil Mack. That is one badass dude, bro. That is one badass dude. George says, Big O, if you feel V-Chain will be at 1 at year's end, why would it be bad time to buy it now? Oh, no. For you, it's a good time. For you, it's a good time. I'm spoiled. I got it at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 cents, bro. Unless it goes under double digits, I don't buy it. I got a lot. So it's like, it's different when you've bought, listen, you buy a little Ethereum now. It's not bad. I know it's, over 3,000, but that mofo is going to be between 7 and 10 by the end of the year. So it's actually not bad for anybody to buy, Ethereum right now. I would tell you to buy a little Ethereum. That's money in the bank. Cardano. I mean, I got a lot of Cardano under $1. So, it's when your initial buys are low, you kind of get spoiled and you want to get those kind of bargains. So you wait, because if there is another correction, then you take advantage of that correction. That's why it's called buy the effing dip. You know what I mean? But that's for people that have already invested in it. So I have a different thinking. So yes, V-Chain right now is definitely a good investment. V-Chain's going to go up, man. It was at 25 cents. So if it's at 10 cents now, it's going to go to its old mark of a couple months ago and soar past it. So if you want short time money, you want to make a good investment in return, you put money in V-Chain right now and you'll double it very soon. Because eventually now in this run, it's going to go back to the 25 cent and past that, and you can get out and double your money. So no. V-Chain's right now, V-Chain is still an absolute bargain for people. Anybody, I would suggest it. Not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you that's what I'm invested in. So yes. And that's the other thing too. When I'm passionate about something that I have, then I'll tell you. If I don't, if I'm not comfortable with it, I won't guide you in that direction, Like XRP is really good, but because of the lawsuit, I have never gotten involved because of the lawsuit, because I just don't know what the hell is going to happen. But the potential is there for XRP to be explosive, man. I wrote them all down, Big O, and I will be going to talk to my guy next week. Thanks, pal. You got it, my man. You got it, baby. Let's see. Why don't they mention Marino as the GOAT in conversations? KJ is asking. Championships, my brother. Championships. That's what it's all about, baby. It's about the bling. It's about the rings. That's what it's all about. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right. Remember, you can also reach out on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Couple things I wanted to talk about. All right, I mentioned we talked a little bit about Eichenberg and Solomon Kinley. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I just want to make sure there was nothing coming across the wire. Apparently, man, it's like it's all Omar Kelly and Alan Poupar basically posting everything. The two guys that are with us basically posting everything I see on the timeline here. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about, how pumped up are you about Javon Holland? Right? Javon Holland right now is absolutely looking like a steal right away. I mean, the kid's picking up an interception practically in every practice, had what would have been a pick six yesterday. You read the Chicago papers, you read Miami, and obviously Miami, they were already on it and they're already talking about his consistency and all of that. But a lot of the Chicago papers also were bragging about how good the kid looked and comfortable. And he's a guy that, man, we think about all the Minka stuff that went on and that whole mess. And Minka wanted, to be a whiner and complainer and didn't want to do what they needed. And so they end up moving him. They didn't want to trade him, but he was dead set on leaving. And so You got to move on. It is what it is. But you think about this, this kid comes in now, and if he can actually do the job, which I think he will, and as you all know, leading up to the draft, our at our station, we were big on Javon Holland. He's the only safety we had on our draft profiles, because a lot of my people around the NFL told me about this kid, and then the Dolphins end up taking him, and it's been exactly what a lot of people talked about. And this guy can really change what this secondary can be. If you can get the ultimate safety back there that can be the center fielder, that has the flexibility to move inside and handle the slot. So just in case in a tight situation, you got X on one guy, you got Javon Holland covering another guy, and then you got Byron Jones. All of a sudden now you are really locking things down on a quarterback and making life nearly impossible for them. And I love this, man, because when you've got that safety that can be the quarterback, that can be as flexible as he is. That's the other thing. We're talking about a kid that's got the vision, that's got the ability to go from sideline to sideline, and then can also play in a box and play tight up with the slot receiver, and can cover tight ends too. So for those moments where you're facing the Darren Wallers and the Kelseys and the top guys in the league, and usually you're going to need two guys for that, Holland is going to be the guy that's going to be the bracket at the top of trying to control that tight end. And this allows you also, because X can stay one-on-one. So you have a lot of flexibility here. And let me tell you, this Holland kid, I know that we spend our time going, well, where's Eichenberg and this and that, and well, what's he doing, and what's Solomon Kinley doing, and we're trying to always look at the negative ones at the moment because they're young people and they're struggling. I think we also got to talk about the young guys that are actually shining, and a guy like Javon Holland, he can help. I mean, the defense was already really good last year without a great free safety. This kid has all the potential to be a great free safety. And that, my friends, can change the complexion of an entire defense. We saw the Legion of Boom when they had those guys going. When you have that guy back there that can kind of control everything. And, you saw yesterday, I don't know how many of you read, but Javon talked about how he was reading, Andy Dalton's eyes. And I listen, don't take credit away from the kid because it's Andy Dalton. I had to take the shot at Andy Dalton. I've never been an Andy Dalton guy ever, man. I never looked at that guy like ever to be the answer of anything. In the end, Justin Fields has to be the guy there in Chicago. I like that kid. I'm actually rooting for him because I think he was done dirty in the draft, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people screwed up in passing him up, and I hope he proves them wrong. But I have so much respect for that kid. I know it's tough for us to say that here in Miami, to say anything good about an Ohio State player, but what he did in that Clemson game and taking that shot to the kidneys and still coming back and throwing that touchdown, how do you not admire something like that, right? How do you not say, okay, that kid's a badass? You know what I mean? So I'm rooting for him personally. And if you're Chicago, Andy Dalton does nothing for you in the end. But he is a veteran, all that good stuff. And a rookie like Javon is able to read and react, and he's been doing it to everybody so far that he's faced. So that tells me that this guy is at another level. And we're already starting to see it, which is a beautiful thing with Javon Holland, man. I got to tell you that's one guy that is getting me psyched up, because this gives Miami's defense the potential to be that much better. Because Bobby McCain did a solid job. This kid is an absolute difference maker back there. He's a ball hawk. He's like Van Ginkel, right? I mean, isn't Van Ginkel always around the damn ball? And I got to tell you, there's a little bit of the Brandon Jones kid also gives me that, I know that he had good moments last year and he had some rookie moments and all that, but I love that kid. I love that kid. And he's another one. And you're starting to see something about Chris Greer, right? Because Minka's a ball hawk, right? X is a ball hawk, right? Javon Holland looks like he's a ball hawk. Van Ginkel looks like he knows his way around and somehow finds himself around the damn football. I'm just saying. It's the same guy that drafts all these people. Hell, Byron Jones had more interceptions last year than he's had in several years. And he doesn't intercept anybody. You know, I'm having a little fun there, but I'm just saying on his draft picks, he has a knack of finding guys that know how to find the damn football. And Javon Holland looks like some of these other guys that he's drafted. This is why I've told you over and over and over again, the negativity people. Okay, so I know Laramie Tunsil's a good player. Okay, but the same guy that drafted Tunsil drafted Austin Jackson. So why can't Austin Jackson turn into a good player? The same guy that drafted Minka drafted Javon Holland. The same guy that drafted X drafted Noah. While Noah hasn't shown us that yet, who's to say it's not there? All I'm saying is open your eyes to the track record. Open your eyes to what's going on. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, right? That in the first 2 years, Flores has shown us what? His teams get better. His players get better. That's what happens. And so in 2 short years, we've watched his team get better each season. They've won more games each season. And so when I look at Javon Holland, I start saying, okay, there's something going on here. Because this guy, Chris Greer, has a knack of finding some of these guys, man, that they like being around the damn football. And when I'm reading that about Javon Holland yesterday, I was like, this is awesome. This is fantastic. Alan Poupar, insider for the Big O radio show, says Eichenberg did some work with the O lineman, but now nowhere to be seen on the field. Again, Brian Flores told us this morning he's dealing with a minor injury. All right. There you go. Jakeem Grant, Noah Igbenogany, and Jalen Waddle are handling kickoffs. Oh, we've talked about this already. Okay. We've had this conversation. I get sexually aroused on this conversation. Jalen Waddle and Jakeem Grant on kickoffs, put them on each side. You'll scare the shit out of every team that tries to kick off to you. Holy moly. You're going to watch when Jakeem Grant and Jalen Waddle are back there for the kickoff. I want you to focus on the opposing team's special teams coordinator. There's going to be a bottle this size of kaopectate sitting next to him. And there's going to be like a big ass straw. And and he's just going to be sucking on kaopectate every single time. Can you imagine? You put Waddle and Jakeem Grant back there on kickoffs. That's freaking awesome. The things you can do, the speed they've added on this team now with Waddle, with Fuller, with Jakeem. All of a sudden, you got 3 speed demons that can just absolutely terrorize teams if they want to. Crazy stuff. And Albert Wilson, even though I think he's the guy that might get traded if there aren't any injuries, but let's say there are and Albert makes the team, you put Albert Wilson out there with Jakeem, put those 2 guys in the slot. Yeah, you know what? No, yeah. And then put Jalen outside with Fuller. I know Jalen will play inside, but in that lineup, I would put him outside. I'd put Wilson and Jakeem inside. Oh, my God. I don't know if they have any plans on a formation like that, but how do you stay with four flyers like that? Can you imagine? It's fantastic. I'm telling you, I don't think people are allowing themselves to imagine a little bit about what really is going to go on. You know, because I think the Dolphins are going to have a hell of a year. I think the offense is going to be terrific. I really do. I think the offensive line will figure it out. They won't be great, but I think because they're young, but I think they'll be serviceable. I think they'll be able to get it done. And I think they'll be crafty enough because they've got a lot of speed. And that's another thing that was really smart on their part. Okay, we're bringing on a young offensive line. We need guys that can make quick decisions and get in open spaces quickly. And we have the quarterback that can read, react, and is accurate. So let's use that combination as we develop our line. And that's why I think yesterday they had success in the 7-on-7s and the red zone areas, all the intermediate and red zone stuff, because they have some guys, even though all their speed wasn't even on the field yesterday. But Matt Collins apparently was people were writing on both sides, the Dolphins and on the Bears. Everybody was writing about, hey, this Matt Collins guy. On the Bears side, they were like, hey, who the F is this guy? He's tearing us up. The Dolphins were like, well, Matt Collins is playing well again. Matt Collins is that guy that you can't underestimate, dude. We kind of like, he wasn't the draft pick, any of that. He's just a guy you acquired. Another Chris Greer find. And this guy he's a hell of a special teamer, which whoever, as we talked about this yesterday, if you're receiver 5, 6, or 7, you need to be impactful on special teams. They're not going to keep guys at 5, 6, or 7 that are just receivers. That's why Albert Wilson has an issue. As good as he is right now, as good as he looks, if all the other guys also look good, he's the one that's going to get traded because he's the one that doesn't help you on the back end. Doesn't help you in special teams. But Matt Collins is a badass on special teams. Jakeem Grant's a badass on special teams. So those are the kind of guys that become your 5 and 6. That's the challenge. Again, we're way ahead of ourselves. We've got a whole month left. We got to get through these games. As you see, injuries are part of all of this. You all know that. I'm not teaching you anything. So we don't know who's going to survive. We don't know who's going to be in one piece by the time they have to make these decisions. We can all get ahead of ourselves and second guess and take a guess and whatever, but in the end, time will answer all of this and we'll figure it all out. But man, the potential is there. It really is. There's a lot of potential on both sides of the ball. I don't think people understand how much better they're going to be against a run with Benardrick McKinney in there, and they were already talking about him yesterday. He's going to be a terror on first and second downs. He's going to help put the defense in favorable positions because he's going to help keep them on third and longs. So the Jalen Phillips and the the Van Ginkels of the world can get after the quarterback. So Emmanuel Ogbah can, terrorize. That's going to be so important to what's developing with the Miami Dolphins. And then on offense, as we just talked about, all the potential's there. And I listen, the line, I think, will settle down and they'll be better. Let's see. What else do we have here? Tua threw a touchdown pass to Gesicki, and Tabor knocked it out while Gesicki was celebrating. Incompletion in 11-on-11 red zone. Great pass, though, on the money. So it's a touchdown in my eyes, okay? Gesicki effed it up, but Tua made the pass, baby. Jakeem Grant. Oh, I read that. Coleman with an end zone breakup. Jakeem with a catch, getting offense to the 2-yard line. Yeah. Omar was hurting writing that update that Jakeem got him to the 2-yard line. Let's see. Jackson says Tua had another good day, including TD to Grant and 2 good scrambles when pocket broke down, per our Dan Dorfman. Waddle had to break up a possible Tua interception. He still hasn't thrown one in joint practices. So there you go. Nice job by Waddle. Do your job. Even if you don't have a shot at it, make sure somebody else does it. Okay? So there you go. I like it. Good stuff, man. I appreciate Appreciate the updates from the boys out there. So far, nothing that we need to bother them later, but it looks like the boys are having a good camp. And how are you Jakeem haters doing? You Jakeem haters can't be doing too well right now. Telling you. You Jakeem haters right now, do you have the kaopectate bottle next to you? Because Jakeem Grant's just catching passes. I'm just saying. You already know he's a great returner. Listen, anybody listens to this show, I'm a fan of Jakeem. I'm pulling for Jakeem. I will tell you that. I think he's incredibly important to this team. Guys that set up field positions and guys that can score, that doesn't grow on trees. But if he actually, this year is the year where everything falls into place as a receiver, it's pretty good. At this point, this Barry Jackson said, Heat counting on two-way guards. They have two-way available to play, a lot of them. Okay, all right, I got you. All right, so he's writing some basketball stuff. We'll get into basketball later on the show. For now, I want to stay into football pretty much. Greer knows talent. Flo knows how to best utilize that talent. Ross knows property. We finally have a great trifecta. Amen to that. Chef Sparky says, you're going to do any shows from the Kendall 97 Sports Grill? No, sir. Bro, Kendall and 97. Listen to what you're saying. We're on Bird and 114. Come on, bro. Seriously. Bird and 114, Chef Sparky. It's like a 7-minute drive, bro. You know what I mean? So I have to go to the one right next to your house. Chef Sparky needs me to go to the sports grill that's literally next to his house. Chef, come on, bro. You got to come out to see us at Bird and 114. It's right there. It's a couple of minutes away. So I expect you there, Chef Sparky. Don't let me down. And for those of you that don't know, we are doing our own pre- and post-game show at Sports Grill. Half the season will be at the Miami Lakes location. Half the season will be at the Bird and 114th location. Okay? And next week, I will tell you exactly which location will do the first half and which location will do the second half, because I'm sitting down with the folks from Sports Grill next week to finalize all of that. They also are going to open up a new one in Doral in the city center. It's being constructed now. It should be done by the end of the year. And when the Dolphins make the playoffs, we will be doing it at the Doral City Center if it's open in time for the playoffs. Because the Dolphins are going to the playoffs. I don't know if you know that, Chef Sparky, but they're going to the playoffs. Let's see. Thunder Cleese says, I imagine the obscene yak this team will have with these guys this year. Isn't it awesome? Isn't it awesome? Awesome. Let yourselves enjoy this, man. Enjoy this, bro. I'm telling you. It's going to be fun. Felix Soto says they would scare the other teams with both at kickoff. Just don't know to throw it to Grant Butterfingers. Well, right now he's catching everything. There's the haters. The haters are coming out. Big O, stop saying they're going to trade Wilson. Trade Grant. Yeah. Can't replace Grant. I think Albert Wilson will make the team because of his speed. He complements the other three who are fast as well. That's what most people think. I think is if everybody's healthy, Wilson gets traded. Praying the O-line steps up this year. If they do, we're winning and a playoff game. Tears of joy may commence. I'm with you too, bro. God, it'd be awesome to make the playoffs and even just win a game, because it's a feeling we haven't had in a long, long time. It's something that, it's like something you feel like you've earned after all these years of suffering. Big O, why are you trying to get rid of Albert Wilson? I'm not trying to get rid of Albert Wilson at all. I'm just telling you, I'm just being honest. I think if everybody's healthy, his salary, it got cut. So it's very movable, I think. And he doesn't add anything on special teams. If everybody's healthy, now, if you have a bunch of injuries, then yeah, you'll keep Wilson. But if everybody's healthy, I think they will trade him. It's not that I'm trying to trade him. Breaking news when Grant catches a ball. Yeah, no, they're breaking it every day. Every day, Felix. They're breaking it. Big O, I'm torn on the trade Grant thing because, like you, I appreciate the special teams value. That said, perhaps they're trying to showcase Grant on offense for additional trade value. Just a thought. You could be right. Could be right. I doubt it, but you could be right. International Black Man is in the house. What's up, baby? Thank you. Go Fins. Jakeem always does well before the season. Oh, no, he was dropping passes in past preseasons. He's been on this year. Call of Duty says, I'm still hating, still early in camp. Oh, you have told some Marino stories in the past. Do you have any good Zach Thomas stories? I mean, I we're maybe I've told this one before. Guy like NorCal probably has heard this one before because he's heard a lot of my shows over the years. We're at the Hall of Fame game since it just happened this week. And it was the year Marino got in, if you all remember. So I went up there to cover that event. That's when we still had a radio station that actually gave a shit about, putting together a real sports station. And so I was beat guy in those days. As you all know, I was a beat guy for 8 straight years for QAM, the Dolphins beat guy. And that obviously was one thing that I really wanted to go to the Marino, induction. Obviously I wanted to see my favorite Dolphin of all time get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I was blessed to be able to go and cover it. Zach Krantz went out there also with me. I mean, we had all kinds of the whole contingent, the classic contingent was out there for that week. We had a great time, by the way. So the game was against the Bears, and they play the game and all that. And then we go into the locker room to talk to the team, and we talked to Zach Thomas, which of course, he didn't do jack crap in that game because it's the Hall of Fame game. So we're talking to him. And I think I want to say, was it the Ray Lewis stuff that was going on back in those days? There was some investigation. Now I'm forgetting exactly who was the investigation on or something like that. It was something going on with the NFL that year. I don't know if somebody wants to do any homework for me there. That year, the year that the Dolphins went, the year Marino got inducted, something was going on in the NFL. There was a famous player that was in trouble. It might have been the whole Ray Lewis thing. I'm not sure. Where's that white suit, Ray? Anyway, so we go into the locker room and we're talking to Zach, right? And some guy walks in and stands next to us with a mic. And clearly he's not one of us, right? So he just waits for his turn. And when his turn comes, he goes, who's your favorite NFLin? And we all look at the guy like, NFLin, which is a great line, by the way. I gotta say, that was just like, that was a really good line. But to do it to a player, right? And Zach looks at him like, what? What did you say? Who's your favorite NFLin? And then he picked up that he was trying, a felon. And Zach just looks at him like, what kind of a question is that? Why would I answer something like that? And the guy goes, okay, and walks away. I have it. I have the audio of it. I do. I have it somewhere. What's your favorite NFLin? It's actually a funny drop on his part. I saved it. Zach was great, man. Zach was the guy that you love to go to because Zach gave you the truth. If they sucked, he told you, man, we were terrible today. We sucked. Although he would, obviously in his eyes, he would always exaggerate about, I came up short. And it's like, Zach, you had 14 tackles, bro. 10 of them solo. You had a pass deflection. What are you talking about, bro? No, we sucked. We were terrible. And Mark Dixon wanted to get fired every week. Mark Dixon, didn't give up a sack. I was terrible today with my technique and this and that. Mark, you didn't allow a sack or anything today, bro. You were great. You actually helped in the running game. No, I was terrible today. And this, that. I think Mark Dixon had himself fired. That's how he would psych himself out. Like he was terrible every day of the week and twice on Sundays. It was classic. But Zach was one of those guys that I love, man. I got nothing but love for Zach. Zach and Jason Taylor, Sam Madison, Pat Surtain, Tim Bowens. Those guys were a pleasure to cover every day, man. Every day. That was a lot of fun. I know that they didn't get to the pinnacle that we all wanted them to get to, but they were such great human beings. And you rooted for them because you wanted them to have, great success. But they were fun to cover. And Zach is one of those unforgettable individuals, man. Good people. Ray Lewis was under investigation for murder or knowledge of it. That's what it was, right? It was the Ray Lewis thing. That's what it was. Where's that white suit, Ray? Let's see what else. Sorry if you already spoke on this, but did you see Armando is leaving for the Herald after 30 years? Yes, I did, sir. And I already gave my thoughts on it. And I said, I think he's going to the Athletic. Rojas is the boss there. Rojas worked with him at the Herald. It's just me. And they didn't replace Tolentino. Normally, when they lost their last Dolphin guy, they replaced him right away. They had somebody right away replaced. It's the most important beat that you cover. They hadn't replaced it yet. Tolentino's been gone for a few weeks. They haven't replaced it. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm just saying, I'm guessing that he is going to the Athletic. That's just me, man. That's just a thought. I'm just telling you, man. And, and nobody's told me anything. I didn't talk to Armando or anything like that. I'm just going to throw it out there. Chuck Cooper says, Darryl Gardner, good guy, nearly ended Manning's career in his first start. Darryl Gardner was a character. I'll put it that way. Yes, Darryl Gardner was a character. Okay, he was fun to cover. Unfortunately, we had an immature Darryl Gardner here. He got more mature as he left and as his career was winding down because he had the back issues. But Darryl Gardner was a character, I'm going to say. But I'm not putting Darryl Gardner with Tim Bowens and Sam Madison and Pat Surtain and Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas. Those are careers. He was a flash in the pan. It was only a couple years. You know what I mean? I get it when he was on and he was playing, him and Tim Bowens, and he was a disruptive mofo. I get all of that, but it was a blip on the radar. It's not a career. I hold those five guys in the kind of high regard that you hold Greasy and Marino and the Marx Brothers and Zonka and Larry Little and all that. That's where I put those five guys. I can't put Darryl Gardner in that conversation. He was good for a short time, for a very short time. He had, a couple moments and all that, but I feel sometimes that the legend of Darryl Gardner is bigger than the actual impact of Darryl Gardner. I kind of feel like as we get away from it, they make it out to be bigger than what it was. It was a nice little flash in the pan, short moment, but it's not a career like those guys. Those guys were awesome for a long time. And IBM says, I'm doing fine, like always, maintaining the funk. That's it, International Black Man. We got to maintain that funk. If we don't maintain that funk, the funk will get us. So, yes, F the funk. Oh, let's see. Bet Dolphin players like you because you were tall as they are. Okay. Let's see. Any projection for Preston Williams playing this year? I just hope he gets healthy, man. I just want Preston to get healthy because we all see it. The good Lord blessed him with amazing ability. And with all, he had the issues when he was in school. He's been really mature here. He hasn't gotten in any kind of trouble. He's, from all indications, the kid's been a professional. So all that other stuff you put behind him, and he can't get a damn break. I got to be honest, too. Okay? I think they screwed up last year with him. I think they brought him back too soon. I liken this situation a lot to how Inter Miami mishandled Robbie Robinson. And they brought him back too soon from the hamstring injury twice. And they didn't allow it to actually really heal. And I don't think they gave him enough time to heal from the injury the year before. And that's why I think he got injured right away, overcompensation and everything, and there it goes. So I got to blame. See, I have problems slamming Preston Williams and calling him injury prone because I think the Dolphins created the second injury. And I'm glad that they're actually pacing the young man now and not hurrying him back up on the field and giving him some time because he is so gifted. Please take care of him. Let him actually get healthy so the kid can actually get on the field and become what I think we all see he can become. He's got number one ability, man. X wasn't lying when he talked about that 2 years ago. He was on target. But you can't you can't make the club if you're in the tub. Right? And that's the problem. So I'm glad that they're actually pacing him. So that's why I want you to know, don't overreact on Preston not playing. I find that to be a positive because they're not rushing him back like they did last year. Take it easy with the kid. Make sure he's 100, then get him out on the field, and he's going to be a freaking terror. But if you don't, but if you put a guy out there who's not 100, then that's going to be a problem. That's the way I look at the Preston Williams situation. Moondog Trading is in. What's up, baby? Big O, what's your thoughts on Lewis Brinson? Man, Isais, can I tell you, I'm glad you brought that up on Lewis Brinson. And I'll tell you what, this is what I see in Lewis Brinson. I'm gonna break this down for you. And I thought about this last night. I'm glad you brought it up because not that this is not necessarily a baseball conversation. This is a South Florida sports conversation. Lewis Brinson now is up to 282. 282. Okay, maybe not all of you follow baseball, but for a kid that was batting under the Mendoza line, that all of a sudden he's up to 282, hit 2 home runs yesterday, a 2-run shot and a solo shot. He's got 7 on the year now, went 3 of 4 yesterday. This is what I want to ask you now, as all of you out there that follow South Florida sports. In the last calendar year, individually, what has been the best sports story in South Florida? So I was thinking about this. Bam, the way he's grown up, right? And winning a gold medal now. Barkov, the kind of year he had last year, right? Got that big-ass contract, all of that. De'Aaron King. Kid was magical, was everything for Miami last year. He's back again now, doing the NIL stuff, getting his teammates also involved, not just being greedy, going, hey, it's all me, all me, all me. The kids, including his teammates, which shows you could tell De'Aaron King is just, he's you want him to be your son. He's just one of those kind of kids that you're like, wow, dude, this guy is just, just gets it, So I was thinking about some of these great individual sports stories. And it's not necessarily who's the best at their sport, right? Because that would be Barkov then. It's not Bam, by the way. It's Barkov. Just in case. Some of you don't follow hockey, but Barkov is better at what he does than anyone else in town. Okay? Let's just put it that way. Okay? He's better at what he does than anyone else in town. Okay? He's better than Jimmy Butler, and he's better than Bam, and he's better than anybody on the Dolphins right now at what he does, basically. Well, maybe X. X is the one that can challenge him. That's it. But I would still go Barkov overall because he's a two-way guy. He helps you on defense, but he's obviously a monster on offense, scoring, setting people up. He's just he's counted on more to carry a team than a cornerback is. You know what I'm saying? So I probably still would give Barkov an edge, but X, you can make the argument. But I'm thinking about it. So I thought of Bam, Barkov, Brinson, and De'Aaron King. In the last calendar year, is there another one that I did not put on this list? But Brinson might be the best story in pro sports in South Florida in the last year because what he's had to overcome, and again, I know that all of you don't follow baseball. I know that all of you don't care about baseball, but the hardest thing to do in all of pro sports is hit a baseball with a 3-inch bat. It's the hardest thing to do in all of pro sports. Hardest position to play is quarterback in all of pro sports. Hardest thing to do in all of pro sports is hit a baseball with a 3-inch bat. So who is the best sports story in the last calendar year? I think it is Lewis Brinson. Because this kid, if he continues this and it finishes out the year for the next couple of months playing at this level, then he's pretty much turned the corner. And you think about it with some of the other guys, then maybe now you find yourself some offense. But, Bam's a great story. De'Aaron King's a great story. Barkov's a great story. Who would you give it to? Who do you think is the best story of, not the best athlete, the best story of the year for athletics here in South Florida? Who would you put? And by the way, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Okay? You got a suggestion? Give it to me. Don't forget Trace Armstrong. Yeah, Trace Armstrong was awesome, but also short-lived. Few years here. Not like those guys. Those guys are career guys. But Trace Armstrong was awesome. And he still owes me. Big O Tim Bowens in the Ring of Honor. Hails to the yeah. Did you ever get starstruck with a member of the Dolphins? No. The only guy that I still kind of get a little, fanboyish is probably Marino. It's probably Marino, but nobody else. I've met pretty much everybody else. I've met a lot of the 72 guys and all that. Admire the hell out of those guys. Met a lot of basketball players. Been around Michael Jordan. Interviewed him several times, not one-on-one, but in the media scrum. And I've asked him questions and all that kind of stuff. So I've interviewed some of the biggest names in all of sports in the last 30 years. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard, I have a pair of gloves right there that are signed by Sugar Ray Leonard here in my studio, my favorite boxer of all time. And I was doing the play-by-play or blow-by-blow, whatever the hell you want to call it, for boxing. I was at the Seville Hotel years ago, and we had some Cuban kids come in that, defected, and they were calling those fights. And Sugar came down to try to recruit one of those guys. And I knew he was coming, so I bought a pair of Everlasts and brought him with me. And when he came, we actually asked him to sit down with me and do the color, which was great because then he was doing the analyzing and I was doing the call, which was, I get to do it with my favorite boxer of all time. And then he signed some gloves, but I wasn't as starstruck with him as I was still with Marino. And let me tell you, when Marino, I had to cover him and ask him really tough questions at times, which was brutal, which sucked because I hated asking Danny those kind of questions because I know that he was uncomfortable at times with all that kind of stuff, but I had to do my job, unfortunately. But it would only be Marino, man. Even Walter Payton, when I met him, as much as I love Walter Payton, bro, it's Marino and Walter Payton, right, for me. And no, it's Marino's the only guy. Marino's the only guy. Everybody else I met, I enjoyed meeting them and all that, but it wasn't like I was starstruck. Danny's the only one that kind of gets me that way. That's it. I would probably say. Let's see. I told you before the summer league started that I love Max Strus. The Strus is loose. Double overtime last night, hits the three-pointer. Max Strus, man. And your Saban guy also is playing well. He had 4 blocks yesterday. Yeah, man, the Strus is loose. Look out with maybe they found another shooter. Now they let me tell you, I was thinking about this yesterday. And I know this is blasphemous. So be prepared. Buckle down. Here we go. Tyler Hero, wake your ass up, dude. The Strus is loose. I'm just saying. You can count on Duncan. If Tyler's not going to be consistent this year and the Strus is loose, the Strus is going to get more playing time and the Strus is going to be counted on more than Tyler. I'm just telling you. It's all. Tyler better wake up this year because he can find himself more on the bench than he has the first 2 years he's been in this league. He better, because I'm watching Strus yesterday. Strut hit that shot like I'm the effing man, Got to give him a lot of credit. All right, we'll update you on everything going on with the Dolphins when we come back. It's a quick break. Come back on the other side. We'll start hour number 3 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Strus is loose. Yes, hour number 3 here on the program. And I see Omar Kelly. Omar Kelly says, Gesicki with a nice middle of the field reception from 2 on the first play of 11 on 11. Eric Rowe also had a pass breakup. Omar says Justin Fields is slinging it today. John Vay Johnson with a nice 30-yard gain on there for the Chicago Bears. Adam Pankey is consistently winning his one-on-one reps. Might be time for a call-up to left guard. Here we go. See what happens. Miami's offense just doesn't look in sync today. And this time it can't be blamed on the offensive line. They aren't doing well, but they aren't doing bad. Okay. They aren't doing well, but they're not doing bad, so they're okay. They're all right. I don't know what that means. I'm not exactly sure. I got to ask Omar about that one there. Max Strus, I think, will be a big surprise in the NBA. I love Javon Holland for the Dolphins. Here's the thing, Moondog Trading. Who the hell can argue with that? Heat find players all the time. So who's to say that Max Strus is not going to be a good player for the Heat and become a good shooter, just like Duncan Robinson is, just like Udonis Haslem turned into a gem for Miami for many years. I know now he plays a security guard role and all that stuff, and I got something to say about that after they signed him. But yeah, how about Omar Yurtseven? Maybe this guy is a player. Who knows? You cannot underestimate the Heat in those areas. You just can't. They find players and talent where other teams cannot. My biggest starstruck moment was when I got to meet Andre the Giant, Ivan Putski, and Haystacks Calhoun at my dad's friend's house when I turned 14. Okay. Nice. All right. I'm not much of a wrestling fan. Andre the Giant, I just, hey, man, that was really good with the $6 million man. Jakeem is wide open downfield and Tua throws hot trash his way. Jakeem slows down to catch it and then drops it. I jinxed him. Big O Fitzpatrick is still salty about Tua replacing him. I've lost a lot of respect for him. Listen, Fitzpatrick is kind of a whiner. That's kind of his thing. He does whine a bit. Listen, Fitz did a nice job here. He was terrific, a personality, all of that. He's never been the answer. Never will be the answer. Never has been the answer. Never gets to the playoffs. Never has a team going anywhere in the playoffs. So what am I going to tell you, bro? He's been on every team possible. He's had every chance possible to earn a starting job and keep it. And he can't keep it long term. So in the end, if you've been on this many teams and no one is willing to keep you long term as a starter, what does that say? So you can say all you want about his personality and you can say about everything once that he's likable and you love the energy and all that. And it's all true. But what's also true is that he never completes the equation. And it can't be that he's right and all 9 teams that he's played for have said, we're moving on. Right? And I know we have some Dolphin fans that, I don't know, they became blind leaders of this guy and rooters, like he was almost talking about him like he's a franchise quarterback. He's a franchise human being. That he is. Good dude. No doubt about that. Good family man. But come on, man. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's never been a franchise quarterback. He's stopgap. He's the guy you need or use while you're trying to figure out your position and what direction you're going in. But he's not the direction you ever used to go in. And I never understood some Dolphin fans that were just, kind of painting the picture like this guy is the end-all be-all. Doesn't make any sense. So that to me is the issue. Let's see. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit. Gerald Dokes, young kid we wanted to all see, right? Didn't have a good day yesterday. Dropped a bunch of passes. And we talked about Gerald Dokes. Again, this is a kid that you got to give him some time. 7th round pick. Maybe will be a practice squad type guy. That's probably what it looks like because they're pretty deep at running back right now. It's not that they're deep with a whole bunch of really special players, but they've got solid professionals there that they're not going to need Gerald Dokes at this moment. So there's really no hurry. And because he's a 7th rounder, this is the kind of kid you might be able to sneak onto the practice squad and keep him there for a little bit and have an opportunity to possibly develop him down the line. Listen, I think we'll get a taste of Gerald Dokes in the second half of this week's game and the rest of them. He's going to play. He'll probably play a lot in that third game. So that'll be good to see him. And maybe sometimes some of these guys need a lot of reps to kind of get in a groove. And he's so far down on the totem pole right now that it's really hard for Gerald Dokes to kind of get in a groove. So the second half of these preseason games, it's going to be heaven for him because they have to rely on him. So now he will get enough touches and enough looks to possibly get in a groove and showcase his skills. So let's hope that those kind of moments are coming and he can shine in there. Let's see, what else do we have here? All right, nothing new there. I see overall. Trying to look and see if there's anything new on the feed for you guys to keep up, but I don't see anything there that I can report for the Miami Dolphins. What else did I wanted to talk about yesterday? No, that's it. I think I got most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about on the Dolphins side. Yep, pretty much. Yep. I just got to wait for it. Oh, and I did see I got to show you something about Hard Knocks. I won't ruin too much just in case you haven't seen the first episode, but I had to get something off my chest because it's just, it's just one of those things that when I look at what's it called? That show and that team, it's always a joke. Can I make a little UD reference? Because UD got signed for his 19th season. And look, I know that getting a 15th player that's really good is tough to find for the Miami Heat, for any team. So I get that taking up the spot may not be a big deal overall. But I will tell you this. How much does UD make a difference on a team like this? When you're loaded with young people, I can understand you have the leadership and the experience of UD. But what's he going to tell Kyle Lowry? What's he going to tell PJ Tucker? What's he going to tell Jimmy Butler at this point? You see what I'm saying? This is a veteran-laden team now. This is not the kind of team that needs a lot of guidance. This is the kind of team that they kind of know what they need to do already at this point. And so UD is not really the guy that is going to play and make a difference as a backup player. You're going to give him minutes like it's a charitable thing almost. It's kind of like it's a novelty. That's the better word. It's like a novelty. It's like the early days when we were yelling for for Alan Ogg. Rest in peace, Alan Ogg. But that's what it's turned into. It's a blowout night. Oh, bring in UD. Oh, they've got 4 guys injured. UD will be on the bench today. And then, they get blown out or they're blowing somebody out. Hey, UD. And he plays a couple minutes, gets in a fight with somebody. And then, oh, wow. And that's the storyline of the year for him. I just kind of, it almost gets to a point now where you're really not doing anything productive with it. UD's doing something productive for his wallet, which God bless him. He's given so much to this organization. I don't mind him getting paid, but to me, you're almost better off. Like what Dejan Giroux. Does anyone want to go Watson in the hunt court? Oh, forget it. I'm lost a bunch of you on that one. Anyway, Dejan Giroux yesterday had 14 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. So I was thinking about that. I was going, well, maybe, and he's a guard, right? Maybe he's better to be the 15th guy. Because at least that's a developmental player. if he's the third best guy on that summer league team. I'm just saying, because I'm watching the game and I'm watching that kid. I'm going, well, okay, are you better off with UD, who really doesn't provide any leadership on a leadership-filled team now? Right? If it's a young guy, or if it's like when you had all those journeymen, 10 and 31 and 31 and 10 and all that, then UD makes a lot of sense with those kind of guys, makes a lot of sense with the team that was really young. All those kind of things make sense. Does it really make sense right now with this team? I was just thinking about that. Or are you better off using that position to try to see if you find another? I mean, you're good at finding diamonds in the rough, right? I mean, that's what the Heat can do. That they're better at finding undrafted players than drafting players. So, I mean, if you could do that, then why not use that spot for that? Leave it as one that rotates, and you try out a guy for a couple weeks, a month or two, and if he fits, he sticks, and if he doesn't, you move on. But I was, and I know it's blasphemous. I know you're not supposed to say negative things about UD. I love UD, man. You know, I'm a Miami guy. I was in the locker rooms at Miami High in games. In the middle, I know Frank Martin really well. So I was, back in those days, when I was a beat guy that I was all over the place, I did high school and college and pros. And usually the only high school games that I went to was Miami High. Because back in those days, they were still a powerhouse. It was still like a national story at times. And so I knew Frank well. So I would be able to go to games, and then Frank would allow me to go into the locker room with them at halftime. And Frank would address it. And no, I'm not telling you what went on in the locker room, because that's not. I was sworn to secrecy then, and I'm still sworn to secrecy now. Whatever. He did get heated. I could tell you that. That's all I could say. But wow, is that a shocker with Frank Martin? He's intense? No. But anyway, so I saw UD as a high school player. I covered him as a high school player. I watched him in a locker room as a high school player getting, not ripped by the coach, because he wasn't ever ripping UD directly or any of the guys. He's kind of a general talker in a way. But, it's one of those things. So I've covered UD from way back in the day. And I'm telling you, it's just, I love the guy. I love everything he's brought to the Heat. I think he should be part of the organization for forever, as long as he wants to be. But I just think that you're overdoing it now at this point, especially with this team. This team doesn't need UD's leadership anymore. They have more than enough leadership. They have enough chefs in the kitchen. They don't need another chef, and especially one that doesn't cook. Hard to tell somebody how to cook when you're not cooking. Get what I'm saying? So that's where I just think it's one where I think they jumped the shark, as they say this year now. And you now have gone from something that could be productive to something that's more of a novelty now. That's just me. All right, remember, you can reach out to us on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Of course, you can chime in here on the YouTube chat board, Twitter, Big O Show. I've got the Twitter open right there, Twitter, Big O Show. And, of course, you can reach out to us. You want to support us, Cash App or Venmo is the way to reach out. And our address is Cash Big O Show, Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. Cody Gibbs giving us some love on the Super Chat. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you, my man. He says, you think Gesicki will get re-signed? Love the show. I do, man. I do think Gesicki will get re-signed. I do. Yes. Yes. And it makes a lot of sense to sign him. One of the things that I explained, because I know Omar was thinking, oh, they're not going to sign him. And he might be right. And some of you out there that think he's not going to get re-signed, you might be right. But I think he's proven to be a player already at this point. And not only that, not only has he proven to be a player, but it doesn't hurt you to sign him. Because if you sign him to a 4-year deal, he'll probably be around for 3 or 4 of those years. Maybe he completes it, maybe he doesn't. But the key is that when his contract is up, that's when Hunter's will be up as a rookie. I've talked about this before. So you kind of can have a cycle. And you sign Gesicki for 4 years or 5, whatever. And in the 3rd or 4th year, you can release him. And Hunter, by that time, is already developed. If he is a player and has developed, because we don't know, but let's say he is, then what you do is you let Gesicki go. Now you've had him on your team for about 7 years, and now you re-sign Hunter to a long-term contract, and you draft another kid. And then you keep that 2 tight end combination, but then Hunter goes on his 2nd contract, and when he's done, then you're signing the new kid. In a perfect world, I think that's what you want to do. So you have a cycle, and you're always covered at the same time. What you don't want to do is have them both on a big deal, because then that's killing you cap space-wise. But if you can enjoy the ride during his rookie year and then have to pay him and get rid of the other one, then it makes a lot of sense. Now, if Gesicki turns into, a franchise-like tight end that, you cannot, he gets even better over the next 3-4 years, and who knows, you may have a decision to make and say, maybe we want to keep him around a little longer. But my guess is right now they'll re-sign Gesicki, because I don't think Gesicki's salary will be that crippling. Super Bowl teams have had a solid replacement for every position in the team. Miami seems to be inching closer to that. Of course, they've got the anticipatory general manager. Felix says, love you, D, but it's time. Millions and a roster spot for a security guard. Yep. Where's Harvey Fialkov these days? I think Harvey, he was doing some work for a local site. I don't know. I didn't see him at Dolphins camp when I went the other day. So I don't know. I don't know if Harvey is retired from the business. I think he is, actually. I know he did some work for some site, but then I haven't heard from him at all. I haven't seen him. Good dude, by the way. Funny guy. Really good human being. I've worked with him. I've been on the road with him. He's a good dude, man. Really good human being. I like Harvey Fialkov. UD almost beat me up. I stepped on his head when he was on the ground stretching. You stepped on his head? And I wasn't paying attention. It was my bad. LOL. Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah, Moondog. You deserve an ass kicking. You stepped on a man's head, bro. Come on. Oh, Danny says, I played against UD in high school. He's the highest paid assistant coach in the NBA at this point. Yep, he is. Yes, he is. How many more years until we can change those unis? What unis are you talking about? The Dolphins? It has to be the Dolphins, right? It's the only team that gets that comment, because he doesn't specify, but I would imagine he's talking about it. Oh, you stepped on his hand. Oh, okay. All right. Well, the hand is all right. If you stepped on his head, that would be a whole different ballgame. George Arthur, thank you, sir. Giving us a little love on the super chat. Says, I can't wait for Tua to break out and shut up everyone. Eat a turd, cowherd. Love the show. Oh, thank you, George. You know what I would tell you? Don't listen to Colin, bro. That guy's just an attention grabber, unprepared, lazy analogies, just, I don't know, man. He doesn't know jack about this team. Fins up, Big O. It's amazing. Some fans expect 100% instant success on the draft and have no patience to develop players, plus are quick to critique after the fact. Khalil Mack recovers a fumble exchange between Gaskin and Tua in the goal line on 11-11. Andrew Van Ginkel flushed out Dalton from the pocket, then chased him down. That's not much of an effort. Dalton can barely move. Tua with a nice 15-yard completion of Waddle. Christian Wilkins with a sack of Brandon Fields. Kirk Merritt with a drop from Brissett on a pass that was gunned in. Ogbain with a sack for the Dolphins. Angelo Blackson sacks Tua. And another skirmish with the first-team Dolphins offensive line versus Bears first-team defense. Okay. Andrew Van Ginkel with a batted pass at the line of scrimmage. Andrew Van Ginkel he's a player, dude. He's just a player, man. You think about that, that's a 5th-round fine, dude. That is awesome. Adam Shaheen with a nice downfield catch. He's having a good day. He's playing against his former team. He should be practicing with a little oomph, right? He should be looking forward to this thing. So those are some of the reports coming in from Omar Kelly. Jalen Johnson just intercepted a pass. Jakeem Grant bobbles it in the air and runs it out of the end zone. There you go. So Jakeem now, back to Jakeem, the receiver. There you go. You guys got ammo now. You guys are those of you dying to get rid of Jakeem, you got the ammo now. Got some ammo as Jakeem did not get it done. Tua, by the way, with a touchdown pass in goal line work to a wide open Foster, making the roster. That Foster kid, man, number 16. When I was there on last Saturday, he caught one down the sidelines. And I go, man, is that Preston? Because he looked a lot like Preston. And I go, but he's injured. And no, that's 16, not 18. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, wow, it's the Foster kid. So there you go. Foster making the roster. Look out. Don't mess with Foster in the roster right there. Ian says, I really hope Foster makes the roster. I watched yesterday, what's it called? Hard Knocks with the Cowboys in the first episode. If you want to turn it off right now or lower the volume for a minute, if you think this is going to ruin it for you, which I don't think so. But I wanted to just show you something because I think it's something that might be overlooked by most and just looked at it like a regular conversation and things like that. And for me, it ran a little deeper and it kind of shows what is wrong with the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? So you get to the point where they watch Ezekiel Elliott running around, right? And Mike McCarthy is standing there with Stephen Jones. So they're going to have a conversation about Ezekiel Elliott. And this conversation was all started by Mike McCarthy. So here's the exchange between McCarthy and Stephen Jones talking about Ezekiel Elliott and the preseason.
Now, what do you think about Zeke? I don't even think we should run him this whole camp. I mean, he's got the guys, he's up there in carries. Career-wise.
That's
what I'm saying.
I agree with you. Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah.
You feel like he's in great shape, don't you?
He's much better shape this year than last year. Yeah.
So let me ask you something. Is that McCarthy running it by Stephen Jones? Right? Because you listened to it, right?
Now, what do you think about Zeke? I don't even think we should run him this whole camp. I mean, he's got the guys, he's up there in carries.
He's trying to justify it.
Yeah, career wise.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Who's the football guy here? I get it. Stephen Jones, the son of Jerry Jones, and they've actually done a pretty good job drafting guys, but Mike McCarthy is the head coach. I don't have to run that by him. I'm just going to do what I do. Flo doesn't have to run it by Greer. Greer picks the players. Flo coaches them. Right? I mean, and listen, common sense says, why would you even run Ezekiel Elliott in the preseason? You don't need to run that guy in the he doesn't need any preseason work. I get he had a crap year last year, had the fumbles. He tuned out of last year once Dak was out. And let me tell you something. When you watch the first episode, you'll get a better feel for why Ezekiel Elliott tuned out last year. I don't want to say any more because you got to watch the episode. I don't want to go ruining the episode for you guys. I just wanted to talk about that specific exchange. Because Mike McCarthy, as we all know, just like any other Cowboys coach that isn't named Bill Parcells or Jimmy Johnson, they're all puppets, right? You get hired for the Cowboys, you got to do what the Jones say, what the Jones want. And Jerry's got to always have the final word and always got to have the press conferences and all. And the media goes to Jerry because Jerry's the one that's going to say outlandish things and things like that. And so they're going to give him material. They got to love Jerry over there because he gives them material. But this is the reason why that organization is polluted. Okay, it's polluted. As Tony Montana would say at the table, I can't have a baby with her, man. She's so polluted. Well, this is polluted. You can't have a championship with this team because they're so polluted. I mean, that's basically what it is. And I've always said this. As long as Jerry's going to have the final word and cut the knees out from their head coach, the head coach will never have any kind of real authority on that team as long as the Joneses are running the show. And it's funny because Jerry is willing to admit that he screwed up with Jimmy, but he's not willing to stop how he screwed up with Jimmy and how he has screwed up since then. Mickey Harrison isn't having a press conference after every game. Stephen Ross isn't having a press conference after every game. Viola and Sifu aren't following up press conferences after their coaches. You don't hear from those people at all, which you shouldn't hear from those people. Get the hell out of the way. Let them do their job. Now, listen, I'm not here to tell you, oh, my God, Mike McCarthy is this great coach or whatever, but he is the coach. He's more proven than the rest of them. The only reason there's championships in the Jerry Jones era because of Jimmy Johnson. That's it. If there was no Jimmy, they would have never won a damn thing. And people would have been clamoring for Jerry to just sell the team already. Because really, why should you care as fans if you're a Cowboy fan? Why should you give a shit that he makes a lot of money? Why should you care that they're the number one valued team in the NFL? Doesn't really matter. Because that doesn't help you in winning. You don't win anything. You're a joke. And when I saw that scene yesterday, and he's like, oh, well, I don't think I should run Ezekiel. Do you need that guy's permission? You got to make sure that he's all right with it. Why? Because they're going to tell you, hey, and there's another scene where Jerry is asking if Dak can throw just a couple of passes. Oh, no, we don't want him throwing any passes because he had a shoulder strain. And I had to explain it to Jerry. And what's Jerry thinking? What, PR? So then people that come out to camp, they can see Dak throw something? It's too meddling. Get out of the way, dude. Maybe you might win something. When you weren't in the way and you weren't in charge and Jimmy was, he took you to 3 championships. I don't know if you thought that championship with Switzer was something earned by you guys. No, the team was on cruise control, that was all Jimmy that he left and established. But I saw that yesterday, and it was like, man, this is why the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and this is why they'll always be a joke. And until Jerry Jones sells, which obviously he's not going to sell, he'll be that guy till his dying day, and then maybe we'll see what happens when the Jones family, what do they do with the team? Who knows? Maybe at that point you'll have fans clamoring all over like, please sell, get the hell out. But, hey, listen, this is no different than Al Davis. Rest in peace, Al Davis, one of the 5 most important people in the history of the NFL and the AFL is Al Davis. He's maybe the most important in the AFL, but he was one of the most important people ever in the history of football. And I know that his final, 10, 15 years, whatever, was kind of a joke, a running joke, and all the things that they would do. And he lost all the shine and luster that he had developed, and a younger generation did not really understand his greatness and what he brought to the table. But the sad part was that the older Al Davis was in the way of his own team. And Jerry Jones is the same guy as Al Davis. He's just wearing blue and gray instead of, black and gray. Or silver and black. I'm sorry. Silver and black. And that scene right there, it's all you need to know. It's like, okay, this is why this place is a shit show. Steven and Charlotte will run that team in Dallas. Sure. If that's what you call it. Could you imagine Jerry Jones against a 1970s Tom Landry? Landry would have eaten Jones alive in his heyday. Well, but if he's the owner, that's the problem. He would have screwed it all up. Orlando, that was a terrible Tony Montana imitation. You're right. I'm not I'm not an imitator. What can I tell you? I'm not Frank Caliendo or what's the name of the classic guy that did Rich Little? Rich Little was the best ever. Damn, Rich Little was good. NorCal says, Chuck, I'm thinking the color change happened after 2017. So after 2022, they can change and suspect they will. They will. It's coming. Van Ginkel is just like Chase Winovich. All I know is Van Ginkel is a ball hawk. And that kid is awesome. I like that kid, man. A lot. Jamie Zorria says, fins up, Big O. It's amazing some fans expect 100% instant success in the draft. Oh, I think I read this one already. Okay. That's what you get for bouncing around. All right. So there you go. I just wanted to get that off my chest, talking a little bit about the Cowgirls and Jerry Jones, because I saw that yesterday and I thought it was kind of funny. Dak, well, I'm not even gonna get into some of the other stuff, but anyway, that I thought was really, really funny. Aldon Smith was cut by Seattle. Did you guys see that? And let me ask you guys something out there. Does the NFL realize how bad they look when they give people like Aldon Smith chance after chance after chance? Do they? Because Aldon Smith has had so many problems in his NFL career that we're talking about DUIs and domestic violence and all kinds of problems he's had. He's been given 4,000 chances. I personally think you actually do a disservice to people that you keep giving breaks. People do not learn their lesson that way. They stay who they are because you're allowing them, because they have it in the back of their minds that if they slip up, they'll be able to make it back again. And look, I don't have a problem giving somebody a break, but I have a problem with Aldon Smith. I have a problem with, I always use him as an example, Steve Howe. I have a problem with people, and for those of you that aren't old enough, Steve Howe had a cocaine problem. And I swear to you, the Yankees must have given him like 7 chances. And these kind of people don't change. And it sends a terrible message in the league. And we talked about this, like the Jordan Reed kid, for different reasons. But here's a kid that has 7 billion concussions. Who knows what's going to happen to him in the future, what kind of health issues he may have down the line. And yet you're going to put him back out on the field again and again and again and again. And sure enough, he gets injured every single time. And in this latest episode, he had one where he kind of slid into a wall and like the bottom of a scoreboard and all that and hit himself. And the kid, unfortunately, just has this terrible luck that he ends up injured and concussed all the time. And he has a crazy amount of concussions. Yet the league continues to allow him to play the game. So we can't talk about head trauma when that's all you're doing is allowing them to continue to suffer that head trauma. And then you're not going to get anybody straight if they know that your league is going to give them 4th, 5th, and 7th chances. Aldon Smith has been in so much trouble over the years, he doesn't deserve any more chances. You can go look at all the issues the guy's had, and it's a ton. Hell, I think I remember him even taking like a gun to an airport or something, like he left it in his bag or something. I mean, he's done all kinds of like king size, stupid ass stuff. And sure enough, here, Mike Garafolo reports that he's got a battery case. The 31-year-old signed a 1-year, $1.1 million deal. But just days after he inked the contract in April, he was accused of beating up somebody at a coffee shop in Chalmette, Louisiana, and later arrested. The incident affected Smith's role on his new team, stayed away from Seattle's offseason practices following the arrest. And so, to me, this is a guy facing prison, has had so many issues off the field. He's a disaster. I don't mean anything bad on somebody, but none of these people ever learn their lesson if you keep giving them breaks. Because you keep making them feel like they're invincible. Josh Gordon can't handle football. That's the problem with these football idiots in the NFL. They try to sell me and you that no, it's better for him to be around the team. Yeah, sure, dude. How's that worked out for you? Because every time he still continues to have his substance issues. So clearly he can't handle football and life. So he just needs to go handle life, period. Football doesn't help him. Never has. Stop giving him 47 chances because you keep telling them it's all right to beat up women. It's all right for DUIs. It's all right to be a drug addict. It's all right to have all these problems because we in the NFL, as long as you can catch the football or rush the passer or score a touchdown, we're going to give you every break in the book. Until the moment you're in jail, then you're going to have to be forced to play for the mean machine. I saw the Aldon Smith stuff, and it's just despicable. It's a joke. But the NFL is Teflon, man. They're never held accountable for any of this. Whether it's Ray Rice or anything else, they're not held accountable. And most of you don't care. Even women don't care. We had a bunch of loser chicks wearing Ray Rice jerseys and free Ray Rice. Why? Because he can rush for 4 yards? 3 in those days? So that's all right. You can knock your wife out or girlfriend, fiance, and spit on her. But as long as you can run the ball for our team, even women will forgive you for abusing women. or overlook it. Maybe they don't forgive. They just, who cares? He plays for my Ravens. Wow, it's just another one of the, and nobody cares. It's a league that they're Teflon, man. You can get away from all of this in the NFL. It's awesome. It's awesome for criminals. It's awesome for drug addicts. It's awesome for abusers of women and children, probably too. You'll get every break in the book in the NFL. We are the league that, hey, it doesn't matter if you're scum. We'll still take you. Just hope they do the right thing this time and never give him another break again. Did you guys see Monta Ellis is trying to make a comeback in the NBA? I thought that was kind of interesting that Monta Ellis wants to make a comeback. You know, the guy is 35 years old, Monta Ellis. He wants to make a comeback. So I was thinking about this. He's 35, right? The Heat and the Lakers. I mean, those are the teams right now signing anybody that is eligible for a blue light special. You either sign with the Heat or you sign with the Lakers. Right? If you've got an AARP card, you sign with the Heat or the Lakers. So Monta Ellis, he says he's not asking for $10 million a year. He doesn't want $5 million a year. He just wants $1 million a year. Wants a chance to prove that he can still play. So I'm thinking Miami needs a guard, right? Maybe a guy that can help out a little bit in point guard, shooting. Monta Ellis is spry. He's only 35 years old. He's young. Cheap contract. Oh, I'm sorry. UD's taking his space. Okay. Sorry. Not going to happen. We brought it full circle, didn't we? Lakers or the Heat, baby. You're on a walker. We'll bring you in. Let's go. Get it done. What do we have here? Next man up. Everybody good? We just plug in and help out, says teammate Solomon Kinley. We came out with a lot of effort and a lot of grit because we know that defensive line is good, said Solomon Kinley. I can always get better with my hands and my base. I'm just playing football. Whatever decision the coaches make, said Solomon. And this is a very good defensive line. We're offensive linemen. We like to scuffle. We do that every play, Solomon Kinley says. Okay. Those are some of the things going on at Dolphins camp. And Larnell Coleman just got kicked out of the line by Flores. Oh, God. That's got to suck. Andrew Van Ginkel ends up with the ball, but I didn't see how he got it, according to Omar Kelly. There's Van Ginkel around the ball always. Bears are dominant of the day and have begun celebrating. You can see Dolphins are getting salty. Justin Fields runs in for a touchdown. Tua scrambles to the sidelines, tries to flick the ball out of bounds to a tailback, and it's a fumble that would have been a safety. Flores gets in his ear, and Tua takes his helmet off and looks back to comment 2 times. Okay. Brian Flores just got on somebody's ass about knocking it off, was talking to the lineman. So a little up and down day, apparently, for the boys on offense today, which, again, offensive line and everything else. What are you going to do? Let me see. So there you go. You got a couple of things out there and competing hard, and sometimes things just get chippy, says Eric Rowe. I have a little shoulder tap, and he fell. Okay. So those are some of the things they're talking about in Dolphins camp, folks. Marlins, by the way, beat the Padres 7-0. They will be off tonight. They're back in action tomorrow. What else do we have going on that I wanted to talk about too here on the show? Let me see. What else do I have here? Ooh. Any of you out there looking for the perfect woman? because I've got the perfect woman for you. I do. An Ohio woman married a man convicted of killing her half-brother in the 1980s. The couple exchanging vows while he's on house arrest awaiting a retrial. Crystal Strauss and John Tjien began their strange courtship when she wrote him a letter saying she forgave him for killing Brian McGarry in 1987. I wrote a letter back and I said, I didn't do it. Take a look at this stuff. And the 57-year-old told the Channel 5 in Cleveland, I believe in God too, and I know things about it, but I didn't do it. Tjien got out of prison July 22nd after he was granted a new trial based on a slew of images and missing police reports. It's no given that he'll be found not guilty the second time around. We'll get through this, Strauss said, according to News 5. It's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. The prosecutor thinks they still have a solid case, telling News 5 it has evidence that Tjien asked a friend to dispose of the gun that killed McGarry. Tjien's attorney have argued that evidence points to McGarry having committed suicide. McGarry, who was Tjien's roommate, was found dead in their apartment with a stab wound and a fatal gunshot wound to the head. After intense interrogations, Tjien signed a statement saying that he shot his roomie in self-defense, Boston 25 stated. Tjien popped a question to Strauss on the phone of New Year's Eve 2020 when they weren't sure he'd ever get out of prison, the Post reported. It's definitely not a fairy tale, Kendall Corral said of the romance, according to the Post, but it is so genuine. That, my friends, is the perfect woman right there. They kill one of your family members, so what do? You got to marry the person that kills one of your family members. Right there. It's only a half-brother. We're only tied by one parent. That kind of doesn't count. We'll let it pass. I've never understood these men or women that become pen pals or get into relationships with people that are murderers or on death row or any of that kind of stuff. And this happens all the time. Right? What is wrong with people? Like, really? You're actually going to even give the person that may have killed your stepbrother or half-brother or whatever, may have not. Either way, you can live with that. You can sleep next to that. Wow. How do you sleep with that person? Like that the whole entire time? Right? You got to keep like one eye open the entire night. You're only like half your face sleeps. It's like a paranoia. How the hell can you be around somebody like that? It's like, honey, I married an axe murderer, right? If we were still making the same mistakes from the first couple of days of training camp, I'd be worried, said Eric Rowe. He is still growing. He's growing pretty fast. I tell him he has to be louder with his calls, but it's nothing about physical ability. You see the range. He's already made a few picks. Eric Rowe on Holland. Holland's going to be a stud. Holland is going to be a flat-out stud. Going to be a hell of a pick for the Dolphins. What else do we have going on? I'm trying to see if Omar Kelly is a tweeting madman right now. Okay? That guy is constantly on Twitter sending everything out. Good stuff, man. Desperate people, low self-esteem. It's weird to me, too. I'll pass on the perfect woman. Big O, is Brandon Jones a backup? It's Paul in Connecticut. At the moment, yes. I think he's got a shot at starting at strong safety. So I think he's competing is what he is for that strong safety spot. But, yeah, I think he's got a shot. I like him, man. I like him. He's one of those guys, again, that has a little bit of a knack of being around the ball. And somehow or another, Chris Greer is finding those kind of dudes. So right now, he's not a starter yet, but I think eventually he's got a really good shot at becoming a starter. I would tell you that. Heat, by the way, are off tonight. They will take on the Jazz on Friday at 5 o'clock. Ira Winderman will join us tomorrow at 11:30. We'll have Omar Kelly at 10:30. We'll have Ira at 11:30. And we'll have Manny Navarro at 12:30. And so we'll cover everything. Canes, Dolphins, and, of course, the Miami Heat tomorrow. All of that will be there for all of you. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. All right, folks. It is time to wrap it up here on the show. We are done. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. We appreciate everybody, as always, for hanging in there with us and supporting us. Don't forget, please smash the hell out of that like button. It is very important to smash the like button and support us, whether you're downloading the podcast or watching on YouTube. Share the link, all of that. Appreciate all of you. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. And thanks to Ray, Eddie, Cody, and George giving us some love on the Cash App, Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Appreciate that as always. Y'all be good.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good